We're getting a little optimism right back into the markets. I think today could be an important day, right? I mean, of course, if we just bleed out through yesterday's lows, then we definitely have a problem on our hands. But I think today's a perfect day where we could get ourselves a nice little bounce back and continue the strength. I think this is not going to be easy on both sides. We're in for some chop, and that's what we got to look at. If you think about it, the last couple of days, we get 1, 2, 3 days up, one day smack down right there. Then 1, 2, 3, up, down. Why are we going to get 2 days up and then another down action? This could very much happen. So I think today's a day where we got to be really eyes open, looking for both sides of the trade, but also looking for what? Setups to actually look better, cleaner. This is very important. We'll talk about it during the show. All right, let's keep going. Let's get towards some action. We can take a look at the SPY first, and then we can go towards some earnings reports. So if you guys got a stock or an earnings you guys want to check out, make sure you throw it up in the comments down below. And like always, guys, we'll catch stocks that you guys want to take a look at. So hey, it's good to see you guys out there. And for any reason, if you're catching us on X, of course, Twitter, come over to the YouTube side of things so that you can drop some names in the chat. If you go ahead and do so and maybe retweet this with a requote, I'm going to be looking for more and more names that kind of give nice rewards to getting access to some of this really good swag that we have. So, hey, you're looking for some good swag? You're looking to help us out? Well, hey, hit that retweet. Or if you're on YouTube right now, maybe actually tweet about us. All you got to do is just hit the share button right there below. And yes, when you see that word subscribe, when I say the word subscribe, you see how it lights up the subscribe button below? Well, hit it. We'll keep going. Let's get to the market here. All right, so first up, we take a look at the SPY. You can see that bounce back area. And once again, like I've talked about countless times, guys, we got to look at this line. I've been calling the trend line, and this trend line is absolutely vital, guys. Looks like we're getting this pullback. We just broke through the 9, and now we could start to head towards the 50 moving average. I have the EMAs, but of course you could use, if you wanted, you could use an SMA. My real outlook here is looking at the weekly. The weekly just looks like it can easily come right back into the 668 to 660 area, right? Anywhere in that keeps the trend alive, but it's also a good pullback. And if you look at the MACD, we've made this nice rally, but you can see how it's slowly but surely starting to come back to the yellow line. At some point, this is going to be a reversal of trend. The question is, what will happen to that reversal? Will it just be a small correction? Or will we see some bigger downside action? These are all questions to be had. So let's continue taking a look to see what we can come up with. All right, let's go towards the daily. You can see now on the hourly, yesterday's low really just coming in the after hours and this morning. So that level to me is vital for the day to hold. If we break that level, well, then that's when you start to be more on that bearish side. Now, what I do think we're getting is an attempt back to trend line. And trend lines, of course, come back, break, and then can become throwback looks. So I'm going to actually be drawing this as the green line. Anything that holds above this, I can still look for some bullish action on the day. Right? So then that goes into, let's go to the 30-minute. Now you see a little bit more of what the trend that we've had in the short term. Short-term trends, I'm going to start drawing these in kind of a different color to try to let you guys know, where I can just leave them even white and just put it a little bit thicker here. So the idea is that if we just hold this line, yeah, we're just completely buy program and just go into the upside. Now, if we pull back into this area, those could be dips to buy or times to be kind of watching to see the action. We'll see what happens off of this report. Of course, there's a lot to take a look at here. And the SPY starting to come back. Let's go to the earnings reports that matter, right? We're going to go through plenty of them, guys. We can just start working through. And we have different partners that I want you guys to check out. Of course, I have Benzinga Pro. If you don't have Benzinga Pro, let me know about it because I can definitely help you kind of set up there. If you see it in our partners, this will help us bring in the information, right? You got to have multiple tools. Look at AMD running here in the pre-market. Wanted to buy some AMD this morning and look at it go, guys. This is why you sometimes got to come in the early morning hours. This was declining at 4:30. There were even articles about why AMD is coming down. Well, look how quickly it's come off that 2050 spot. Well, AMDL, you can look at AMD, right? The 237.50 spot, and then all the way back up there to 245 really quickly. This is why I'm also in the rebound day. You're seeing a rebound right here in front of our eyes. Let's get to the numbers here and what really happened, right? This is always important. And of course, you guys can catch this with your sunrise report that's brought to you guys every single day in the Discord action. We're going to be focusing more and more to bring into the Discord. So you traders that watch the stream, if you're on Discord right now, let me know in the comments, because I want to know who actually spent some time on there, because we're going to be working together and expanding here at Trade the Pool, taking it to the next level, right, guys? So like always, guys, smash the like. We got a lot more for you guys coming. And also, please let us know what you want to see more of, right? Is it more bot trading, right? More of that kind of thing. Because I'm at the point where I'm like, man, you know what? We should just have a Michael Noss bot channel, right? Where we're just showing you guys trades by the bot, and it's showing you the in and outs, even if it's on more of a simulated account. Would you guys be interested in things like this? This is what it's about. We're here to help you guys expand and keep pushing. You guys know Money Mitch here, guys. I'm always trying to make us get to the next level. So it's good to see you out there, Dorothy. Of course, good morning to you, and good morning to Jay Angelo in the house. Always love my man, Jay. Hey, it's good to see you, and I hope you guys are having a great, blessed day, ready to get after the action. Larry, let's get after it, man. Larry, really quickly coming in and saying, yes, 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 more of that trading. Is it more that you like the bot trading, or specifically just want to see trades in action? Larry, would love to hear more and expand on it. Let's keep going. Let's get back to the market. Let's get back to the action of what happened here in the report from AMD. Of course, it's our top headline of the day. Let's get to it. All right, so of course on AMD's earnings, it was very important to see what would happen with the expectations, right? Because that's really the concern here. It was more about what would happen to the forward guidance, right? Well, let's get to it. It fell 5% in pre-market, but it delivered solid results here. EPS of $1.20 versus $1.16 on revenues. So you guys can clearly see AMD on the first action was down, right? And it's recovering it just as fast. Revenues at $9.25 billion versus $8.74 billion, up 36% year over year. This is the massive move where I think, yes, this is why I was calling out for AMD to get up here towards the high when we were down here, guys, when we were just breaking the monthly turn. And this is another lesson in monthly charts, because this is what's created this kind of big expansion ride up. And it's been a wild ride indeed, guys. So we'll see what happens there on AMD, if it can keep going higher. But this is what helps, right? Actually, fundamentals matter. Yes, I'm saying it. They do matter. I know there's a lot of people that don't believe it, but that's just how it goes, guys. They do matter here. AMD wouldn't be at 240s if it wasn't kicking ass in the earnings. All right, let's keep going. Margin guidance merely meeting the expectation, but disappointing the AI optimists. Let's talk about the data center. Revenues were up 22% at 4.34. That's what you want to see. Data center is the focus. Gaming revenue here up 181% as Microsoft and Sony PlayStation ramp up. The best part, AMD in both of these systems. So look at that. That's a big move. And I expect big things for those gaming systems next year, as of course, Grand Theft Auto will be being released, and everyone that didn't have a system like myself might just be getting one just to play a little Grand Theft Auto. We'll see what happens there. OpenAI deal also could make AMD's instinctive GPUs a real NVIDIA rival. Oracle deploying about 50,000 MI450 AI chips next year. And CEO Lisa Su confirmed, of course, that AMD received new U.S. licenses for its M1 308 chips to China. This is a subtle but nice tailwind that's playing in on the company. And you guys knew that what we talked about where AMD before this breakout was a big focus on what? The China revenue. And that, of course, is starting to come up. Despite today's dip, AMD is up a whopping 107% year to date. And it's been a beautiful run, to say the least. All right, let's keep going. We'll go to another report, and we can take a look at some reports that you guys want to take a look at. If drop a name in the chat, we can talk about it. McDonald's missing on earnings. EPS at $3.22 at versus a $3.33 estimate. Sorry about that. Of course, receiving calls. Like always, at the wrong time. Thanks to its snack wrap comeback as it revamped extra value meals. Consumers are trading down but craving the Mickey D's, particularly overseas, where same-store sales jumped 4.3% in core international markets. CEO Chris Kempczynski says that growth remains sustainable even in a tough environment. Fast casual focus. Let's move over now to Kava as we're seeing more of a disaster here as Kava got up there to 150, but it's really quickly coming for that IPO date. And I remember when Kava was getting up there, I really didn't believe that this thing was going to be able to hang on. I've been to a Kava. It's really not up all Americans' alley. Let's just say that much, right? Like Chipotle, I think everybody eats Chipotle. Not everybody eats Kava. And that was my concern from the very beginning. And it looks like it's starting to play in. Kava tripped down its outlook again, blaming drops in visits from 25 to 34-year-olds. So a big portion of the fast casual demographic, right? It's a key area, and it's squeezed by what? Student loans and soft job growth. So they're blaming that action, but the EPS coming in here at 12 cents, that was in line. Revenue just shy of the number of 292.6 million, which was expected. It came in at 292.2 million. So just off there by $400,000. Same store sales, a big number for like a restaurant, right? Those are the things you want to be looking at. It was up 1.9%, but missed the 2.8% estimate. So that's the real concern here, is that the same store sales just are a little bit flat, and if anything, showing weakness, right? And then you looked at the full year 25 guide, and 3 to 4% cut from 4 to 6%. So this is not good here, guys. Shares did drop 5% post-market, are now down 54% year to date. A bright spot, though, is that Kava lowered prices and expansion to 74 new stores year over year, are helping it grab market shares from pricier peers like CMG. We'll see what happens there. Of course, major competition to Chipotle. All right, what's going on out there? How we doing? It's good to see you guys. And yes, we got to keep that Discord going. And like always, there should be a link in the description below there for you. But you know what? I'll probably have J. Angela, can you do me a favor? I know you're on the Discord action there. Can you drop in a Discord link, an invite link there for them in the chat? Well, we got to get some new Discord members. And the truth is, guys, the Discord never stops trading. There's always somebody dropping in names that they're looking at, stocks, trades that they're watching. If you want to keep up with everything, that's where you want to be, guys. And I'm going to start doing some special trading on that Discord just to help out a little bit further. So get over there, guys. We'll see you on there. All right, good morning. How you doing out there, James? Good to see you come in here. And we do got one name being asked for, and that's Uber. Of course, Uber reported yesterday, but we can take a look at the action here. I got you, George. I was actually trading Lyft to the short side yesterday. Was able to make a little gain on this, but really the best trades of the day yesterday were short Grail and short Hut. But Lyft did come down. It's not like it didn't. I just got too oversized at I was like at 220s, 219s. But really, this did come down. It just got down there at the last second, the last candle there, the last 15 minutes. And of course, I got cut out at right around this 1960 spot there, and then eventually went to 1930s. But let's take a look at Uber here. Of course, their report wasn't necessarily the worst. It was just a bad kind of data report. I mean, everything took a beating, right? Now the only thing you want to see is on the weekly, can it hold this 92.50? If it cuts that, then you really got to be a little bit more concerned. So I'll put it at 92.30s right now, but that's kind of the area where you really want to kind of recover and then hold, which was your prior support area. If you wanted to bring it down a little bit further to 91.50, that's your area. But remember that a lot of times stocks do what? They shake you and then they break out. So Uber could still make a move right back up. I'd also keep an eye on the monthly chart. The monthly chart just came back to monthly support, which is 90. And that's actually good action, right? Because what you're doing is you're building, and then you can do the breakout. Breakout above 100 would be a beautiful look on Uber. All right, like always, and like always, get over there on the Discord action. Great Discord. Hey, love to see you on there, man. And I'm gonna be doing more on there, so look forward to seeing me out there. Dorothy, what's going on? When to exit and the entry of trade. That's what you want to hear a little bit more of. Okay, we'll talk a little bit more about that. And what we can do is specifically, I want to keep like kind of grabbing snippets from you guys of what you guys want us to cover, right? So, hey, I appreciate this message, and I have this little way of like starring it and like remembering it. That's a star for me. I will keep that message, and we'll definitely cover it. Maybe not exactly today, but I think what would be a great thing would be to actually show you prior examples of trades of when we gotten in or gotten out, right? Because I think that's the best way to learn. Because there's one thing telling you the perfect entry and the perfect exit. There's a whole nother thing of actually executing it. And I think that this is the main thing that you could also learn, Dorothy, just from a quick tip, right? It's sometimes how we, set up our system is also important of how we can actually execute that system, right? Because like always, there's perfect entries, perfect exits. Those are done in the background, right? Where, it's not live trading. But as a subjective trader, where you're actually making decisions in real time, this is what matters. And I think that the only way to really learn from it is just look at prior trading examples, see when the pressure was strong, see when they made mistakes, right? When it was a bad exit, right? You can learn from bad exits too, right? I think that's the important thing. That's why we do the stream also, right? We don't do the stream because we're perfect traders. We do it so that you guys can learn from our strengths and our weaknesses. All right, let's keep it going. It's good to see you guys out there. Don't see the Discord link. James, my man. Great comment there. Good to know that you're not seeing it right now. We're going to make sure that it gets put up right now. I'll make sure that there's a link there that you guys can click. I'll grab it from my man myself if I need to grab it. Just give me a couple seconds, and when I bring on Michael Noss, you guys will see it there in the chat. Let's keep going, and a lot more to learn, and we'll talk bigger conversation about this, about entries and exits coming up. And look forward to having more psychological conversations, right? We had a great conversation last week. We're going to continue expanding more and more on trading psychology. All right, guys, it's 9 a.m. There's more stocks to go through. There's so many names, right, of earning stocks that we can run through. So what we'll do is we'll just keep things going. We're going to, we got a lot more for you guys to take a look at. So just stay right here, guys. We're going to kick the show off. We'll go through some more earnings reports. We'll go through some more conversation. If you see Michael and I just get too caught up in our bear and bull market conversations, just let us know. Because at the end of the day, guys, remember, you run the show here. Let's keep going. Let's get to the action. It's time to kick it off. It's Trade the Pool.
Google wants 200, baby.
You ready to get back to the trading action?
You aim, you shoot, and make money. It's going to be a great day. You guys know where you're at.
Michael Katz, our CEO, says it all the time. What's going on, Michael Noss? You ready to make some more money?
I hope so. I like this volatility. I hope it continues. I see we're flat from the open, so it looks like we're not there just yet. But
Yeah. I mean, what have we been talking about, right? The moves are happening overnight. I feel like this is another one where the good part of the move has already happened too, the bounce. Yes, we could keep going higher, but this is where it gets tough, man. Because prices that you were at, like let's say 6 a.m., at the same prices that we're seeing now. And that's the hard part, right? Because you have to buy after you're buying near resistance, not the support. And that's where we got to maybe be patient today. We'll see what happens. But good action overnight as we, well, not really, I wouldn't say overnight, this morning as we started to bounce back, of course, led by AMD's bounce back there. What do you think is going on in the market, my friend?
well, what's I remember I did this, and maybe I'll do the whole kit and caboodle again one day when we have a slow day. But
Yeah.
I remember I did this whole presentation here and in other places about how every single bounce was at an anchored VWAP from a place before it, right? And this is again just the average price of the average market participants, and again, every single one all year. All you did is you marked that low, you put an anchored VWAP on it. We came down, we touched it, and we bounced again, right? And that kind of stuff doesn't usually happen by accident. That's in most ways programmatic. That's large institutions buying, trying to get involved here. And, like, so perfect example is this last pullback. You put an anchored VWAP right there. That's where we found support and bounced again. And then look, you put an anchored VWAP on this was the cooking oil crisis of 2025, came right down there overnight, bounced almost to the tick right off it. So could just be another one of those that's happening over and over again. We get a dip. People are
Oof.
looking to buy the dips in bull
Oh,
markets, and we kind of hit that price, and away we go.
where are you anchoring it? On the low of that day, or
Well,
where's
no, a VWAP's always, if it's drawn right, is always going to be anchored on the day itself, right? So it takes the high, out, low, open, close, and volume. When you click on that candle, that's where it goes from, and then it moves from there. Because the point of a VWAP is that if you pick like a 9 period moving average, all it is the last 9 closing prices. That's it, right? There's no real magic to it. There's nothing special about it. There's institutions don't really use that as a metric. VWAP, what you're doing is you're picking a specific point and you're saying from that point, I want the average price, but I want you to weight it by volume. So if there's a really high volume day, that's going to be a more important day than a really low volume day, right? And which makes sense because if you have a couple days that do nothing, they're not as important as a day that has a whole lot of action. And you can see it there in the ES. If you go to the S&P or 500, the CFD contract, you can see it perfectly, right? So you're anchoring it on that day, and again, it should show up kind of right in the middle, right where the VWAP would have been on that day, and we came right to the tick and then screamed higher. Same thing on the Qs, right? This has just kind of been the way it's happening. So it looks like, at least for now, you can't really, I guess you do the NQ for the futures. So it looks like, again, just more programmatic buying. I know we've got Trump. I've got my Walter Bloomberg notifications on. He's just blazing. So Trump's yapping somewhere about something.
oh, he's just
Yeah.
he's really mad about the New York mayor. He's
Oh, well, this
the best part is I love how the New York mayor opened up his speech. He said, "Hey Trump, because I know you're listening, turn up the volume."
he's yeah. Mostly this is
That was a
he's
good opener. I gotta give it
thing
to him.
to buy the stock market. So
Yeah,
he's
he's
he's going to Miami
actually
for a big speech
he's
today.
he's actually was saying that the market was down because of the government shutdown today. That's a quote that came out of his conversation. So yeah,
Whatever a
that's not a good.
filibuster is, he keeps talking about that.
Yeah,
So
it's the taco. The taco trade is now on for the government shutdown.
yeah.
If anything, I think this is where the turn comes. So watch those predictive markets and go betting because I think the government shutdown is going to be faster than what was expected.
Well, and that's what we've been seeing the whole time. Like this last dip, everyone was saying, "Oh, momentum's dead. It's the end of the world. This is it. This is the top." And then on Sunday, he goes, yeah, we'll be fine with China, and then it gaps up the next day and it rips the new highs. So we
Yeah.
wonder if it's just more of the same. And the idea that a lot of people are having, which makes sense as someone who's not in your country, so doesn't care about politics, is you can't have a crazy bear market happen before the next midterm elections. You just can't do it. And I know we've been talking about this a lot, and I tweeted about this last night that the betting markets are now showing a kind of a landslide victory for the Democrats, which is the other side, right? That's the side not.
Hmm.
And that happened yesterday during the crash. And then all of a sudden today, he's meeting with all the Republicans about how to end the shutdown. So we talked about this when it was 50-50 and everyone was blaming everyone else. They're not going to end the shutdown. It's only when one side gets the blame, that's when they're going to all come to the table and go, okay, now people are mad at us. So let's get this wrapped up and get this moved on. So yeah, it'll be
That's
over
there you
way
go.
soon.
And the trade is now on for the government shutdown to end. So whichever trades you want to bet on with that, I mean, that's a little bit harder.
Well, what I want to see is my commitment to traders data back. I want to know what I want to know what they've been up to, right?
Let's
It's
see what all these shorts got out when you couldn't be looking.
well, and the dollar index, right, just ripping here. The last report we had was
Oh,
everybody was short the dollar. Everyone was a dollar bear,
oh
and now
yeah,
we're
they flipped
ripping.
it. Now they flipped it. You know, when you
So
couldn't look. You know.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Because again, these guys, if they flipped it, I want to short because these guys are always wrong. I want to. I
Yeah,
definitely want
I
to
want
flip
to
the
I want
script
to see
on
that
that.
they went majorly long now, and then maybe we don't get to 700 this year. But hey, we'll see what happens out there, guys. Let's get to some earnings reports. Of course, AMD was the big one that's already
Yeah.
bounced back. If you guys have any earnings stock that you guys want to focus on in the chat, make sure you're throwing it up there, guys, because we're trying to catch those kind of answers right there.
Well, and
And
AM.
there's the Discord, just to mention.
Oh, cool.
Discord link there for you guys. You should be able to just click on it and get to the Discord. And do me a favor, drop in the chat there, right, and say hello. Say you came from the YouTube stream and you're looking to talk with other traders, something like that, because you'll see how reactive the Discord community is there. So let's keep pushing, and there's a lot more to get there, guys.
Right, and I don't think a lot of people, because I know most people here watch stocks. I don't think a lot of people saw kind of how ugly things got overnight. So I did want to just take a second and just show, right? If you do again S&P 500, you don't have to do
There was some
the
good
Nasdaq,
shorts,
but
man. There was some good shorts yesterday.
like this was so the close was right here, right? So right in this consolidation. So we kind of just waterfall down after that. It was just down candle after down candle after down candle. And the important thing, as right, as someone who's watching this stuff, because I'm an addict, I'm a junkie like the rest of you guys, is there was no news that changed that. There was not like with again, we talked about the last one, the cooking oil crisis, that Trump came out and said, okay, everything's fine, and then we ripped back up. This reversed kind of on a dime and then started to get buyer after buyer after buyer. And we saw the same thing in crypto. This is why I always say, please, if you're trading crypto, do your analysis on the cryptocurrency. There's lots of free places that you can find the currency itself. And it was the same thing. It got down under this 100,000 and ripped, and then it got back down under 100,000 and then it ripped again. And we know these are big psychological levels, and we know that there may have been, if there's an institution out there who's looking to buy these, I'd say, hey, give me any price you can under 100K. Ethereum was the same thing, just across the board. Like this Ethereum was real ugly. Like this was gross. And then just on a dime, just turns and reverses, and we're back up about 1.2, 1.3% here across the board. So at some point last night, some certainly institution, not retail, decided, not because of some news event or something that came out, they said we're buying stocks. We're buying stocks here. We're picking this point. We're buying stocks. Now, do they still have more to buy? Who knows, right? No one knows for sure. But that's kind of what's going on here with AMD. You saw a bit of the same thing, right? Just on a dime, just right back up. So for now, there is some power. Again, you never know how long they're going to buy for. You never know any of this kind of stuff. But there's someone out there who said, that was a good dip. Get me in. And just across the board. So the question is, what I'm going to be looking for is if we dip down, these are now the levels to watch, right? These lows. You just want to focus on these lows. If you're above these lows, you're probably, for myself, you're dip buying mode. You're trying to get involved to the long side. If these lows break, well, now we've got to flip the script a little bit and say, okay, whatever that entity was that bought everything overnight is either out or they're waiting for lower prices or whatever it is. But and that makes things a little bit easier, I think, especially because I see so much fear out there. So many people are losing their minds with the markets down 2 to 3%. But you want to just have a level, have a line in the sand. That's your line in the sand. If we hold these overnight lows, and again, you can look at the ES if you have futures contracts. If not, do the SP 500. That's what I'm doing. I'm marking this low right here. It's 67.50. So we're above 67.50. We're holding really well. We break 67.50. That's when you're gonna see me open up, I think, my swing account and start to pare down a little bit, raise a little bit of a cash, look for lower prices to buy strong stocks. And again, that makes our life super, super easy. When you make it a binary decision like that, you're not like guessing and pondering and trying to figure this out. You got your line in the sand.
We will see what goes on there. And, one of the things that I've been pointing out is kind of that, there's a lot of like momentum stocks that are, now in the oversold territory. And this is what you wanted to see, guys. This is what I was telling you, that there was something that broke, and that's why we came down. I think, it didn't need to be news related. It was purely momentum names broke down. And that's out of the market, which is a good thing. And it could keep going down. Some could keep going down. The ones that have strong fundamentals are going to be able to hang on for a little bit longer if they're momentum names. If you have no fundamentals, those just completely, it's like the floor just doesn't exist, right? You always want to ask like where the floor is on a stock, especially in an investment mentality, right? There is no floor if you have no fundamentals. Now, if you do have fundamentals, at some point, people start to view you as cheap enough, right? Or the value related to the stock there's a point where people come buying, right? That always happens on quality names that have fundamentals. But if you have none, like let's say these quantum names, right, that is just more of like a science experiment, not necessarily something that's really being driven to the bottom line right now, those are the ones that fall.
Yeah, and it's kind of like nature's healing. And you see it in pure play more in the crypto space, where you'll get like the actual number and they'll say X amount of money has been liquidated from the crypto markets. And you see these tweets all the time. It's like, $2 billion has been liquidated from the crypto markets. And it has to happen every now and then. People get a little bit too levered up. They get a little bit too ahead of themselves. This is why for especially swing trading and overnight stuff, it's like highly do not recommend trading on leverage if you want to sleep at night. But yeah, you again, they shake the trees every now and then. Things go a little bit nuts. It breaks down. It gets rid of, weak hands and over leveraged players and all of that. And then generally speaking, you find a bottom. So I like the idea of looking at kind of oversold names, right? And, basic scans you can do, right? I mean, not affiliated with, but right, you can just grab a screener on like FinViz and just go and look at, like a technical and just grab I got an RSI here, I'm sure, right? You just grab an RSI and you say, I want an RSI oversold under 20. And then just, I don't know, something that has some volume to it, right? So average volume over 500,000 shares, RSI under 20. And then just start going through them, right? This is the work. And try to find some of these names that are more or less interesting to you for some degree or some way, shape, or form. And then if we're gonna have a little snapback rally, these are good ones to look at, and just you make your list now, right? So that when and if we bounce, because unless the world's gonna come to an end, we are going to bounce at some point. Then you've got that list good to go, and you're sorted, right? And have the time, do the work now, so you've got the list, so you're not out there trying to figure out, oh, what do I buy? What do I buy? Because I've seen so many people who they keep saying, oh, I'm waiting for the dip to buy stocks. And then they get the dip and then they don't buy anything. And then it rips higher, right? And it's so if you're one of those people that want a dip to buy, well, you're getting a dip. So have your list, right? Have it ready to go.
Yeah.
Wait for some evidence that, that these lows are holding, and then pull the trigger. You don't want to have to do that work when things are a little bit, when things are scary, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
what's interesting here is I'm seeing IWM up pretty big, up 0.5%. SPY flat, RSP, which is your average stock, up pretty good as well. And then the Qs are down. So, I made a tweet yesterday. XLF had a great day, ripped from the open, held strong all day. XLV, healthcare, had a great day, closed pretty much at the high of days, really strong in XLV. So is this the beginning of a big rotation where tech is going to be, you're going to want to look to the short side on tech and then maybe the long side on more financials and healthcares and things like that? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not that
I
smart to
don't
know,
know.
but it's a
I,
good
I
place to look.
my thing with that is that the market wouldn't hold because the 34% of the SPY exposure to tech. I mean, that would just drive the SPY right back down, or maybe keep it near unchanged. But that rotation wouldn't be fun for the market. At least I think. I think
No, and if
tech
you're
needs
holding
to
the
hold.
SPY, that would suck. But
Yeah,
if
I
right,
think tech needs to hold regardless. Because I mean, those are the stocks that are near all-time highs, and I'm looking for stocks that are near all-time highs to just keep ripping, right? Like Microsoft was just there, and now it's down. Like those are the names that need to bounce here. Like if we're gonna keep this party going, it's not gonna be because JPM gets to 350. It's gonna be because Google
well,
gets right back
if
through and goes to 300, right?
if
Um,
JPM gets to 350 and you own JPM, then what do you care what Microsoft does, right? So it's just one of
Yeah,
those
I
in
think you care about the
crashes.
overall market. That's more along what I'm related to, not necessarily just for an area to trade. This is an area to trade, right? This is a sector
Right, and
that's still
that's
showing strength, right?
if we are going to crash, everything's going to become incredibly
Everything,
correlated, and
yeah.
that's not
That's
going to be fun. Like
and
if
the
we
VIX will
crash,
tell us that,
but
right? The VIX will tell us that. I think that's another thing that kind of point to for traders to kind of learn, right? The VIX has
yeah.
kind of started to come up, but it's no by any means elevated, right?
Right, and I think that's important to know where if it's just a normal everyday,
Correct.
chill correction,
Yeah,
then
and not even a correction,
correlations
right? What
don't
do you
increase,
consider
right?
correction? What would you consider a 3%?
I don't No, well, 10% is the technical number, so I don't
Yeah,
wanna
5 to
use that.
10, maybe 5 to 10 somewhere.
It's 10%. If you're following whoever made up these numbers, who knows who it was. It's 5% or 10% is a correction and
Yeah.
20% is a bear market, right? And
Yeah.
again, it's one of those, it's a Loki's wager, right? It doesn't, it depends what you're in. If you are in a lot of these, like if you're in quantum computers, right? This is a crash. This is a full on bull market. This is a bad time.
Mhm.
And I'm sorry for those people. I'm not one of them. So it doesn't feel like a crash to me, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm in names that are holding up. So, and I really do think that it's one of those that some of these terms might just be antiquated, where unless again a COVID comes, everything's going down, right? A tariff tantrum comes, everything's going down, right? When
Yeah.
things really move fast, they get really really correlated. And like you mentioned, you can always just look at the VIX. If the VIX is under 30 or 40, then stocks can kind of move on their own accord. You can have some things that are going up, some things that are going down, which is for us. We're traders, right? That's a perfect idea. I don't care if what AMD does. I don't hold any, right? So the it becomes a, can the market correct and you be long stocks and still make a bunch of money? I think absolutely, as long as it's not fast, right? If it's a real fast thing that happens, then yeah, you're kind of done then, right? If it's a real fast thing, then everything's going to kind of correlate, and you want to spend most of your time day trading. But that's the other benefit, and that's why I think we offer day trading and swing trading accounts, and why I think it makes sense to have both of those, is because if you get a fast action and everything gets correlated to one, you'll probably get stopped out of a lot of your swings, and you probably want to focus on day trading. You're probably going to get enough juice from the day trading side of things where you're happy. And then vice versa. If we're just going to rip back to new highs, day trading might be complicated, but swing trading would be good. It means you have a good place to buy a dip. That's why I'm using these lows as a place to kind of look at and potentially load up. And I'm looking at names like JP Morgan, and I own some Lilly, but I'm looking at names like Lilly that is potentially going to break out of this base. UNH, right? On this pullback, is UNH interesting here? I had a buddy of mine, he gave me some good looking names. I just asked, this Nick Drendel is a good follow on Twitter, is a good buddy of mine. He's one of those William O'Neill disciples. And I just asked him, I said, hey, what do you like in the healthcare space? Because he can always find some good names. And it's like this GH.
Guardian
This one's
Health.
interesting. I don't know. I don't know. He said MEDP. This one looked really nice. Right? Gaps up, and it's holding the gap up. And then ATEC. This is another one. Gapped up on earnings, holding that gap up as well. So I just think it's going to be, if we're getting a rotation out of tech and into other stuff, that's awesome for us. As long as you're someone who is not really dogmatic about, I only trade big tech, right? If you do, get your short and shoes on. But if you're someone who can trade anything, then I think you can, there's going to be some opportunities out there for you. Yeah. Again, assuming that we're just not ripping back to all-time highs the way we've done all year.
Yeah, I think we're in for some chop. Like I've talked about it ain't going to be easy sledding for the end of the year, man. And I think that's where I think traders might have in their mind, because things have been so easy. And I think that's how the markets go, guys. Things are easy, but it doesn't last forever. When people were buying rock pictures, and making a couple $1 million on it, it was easy. Then things got hard and they got tough. Right. So I think it's always about just taming expectations at certain moments. I think now it's not a time to get, extremely bearish. You guys, I'm not saying the end of the world is coming here, but it's time to tame expectations and look for smaller returns, not these whopping 60% returns, right? So I think that's what we need to kind of just tame ourselves a little bit. Slow down. Yesterday, I was able to make really good money by being smaller size that could hold me in the position, right? I still was short and was able to make money on the bounce back, right? And was looking for it to be an end of the day wash. Got it. But the only way I stayed in the trade was that I was big enough that it didn't wash me out completely. If I was too big, I would have just got washed out again and another max loss day, right? So I think that we need to just kind of, if there's anything that for sure between whether we're going up, down, sideways, left, right, the brake pedal, I think it's time to hit brake pedals and just be smart here. You can still take trades. You can still open new positions. You can swing all you want, man. Buy the dip. But I think it's not as easy as it just was. And that just means more chop action and maybe looking for either, like we talked about it, either quick returns or smaller size to let you play out some of this volatility.
Yeah, and again, it's a different, this is why I always really adamant to not use leverage into things. Because, right, if you're in cash right now, I've only had a couple triggers this week, so I've got maybe 30-40% of my portfolio in cash. You're excited for this kind of stuff. You're like, give me a harsh pullback. I got cash, right? It's if we're gonna pull back another 5%, we're actually gonna go into correction territory, which would be another 7% from here. So where would actual correction territory get us to the SPY? 10%, an actual correction. Boom, that's 620. That's all the way down here. That would be an actual textbook correction from all-time highs. I'm all right with that, right? It's obviously between now and then I will lose money. My accounts will be smaller than they are now, which won't be fun. But because you're someone who's kind of nimble and you take your trade, and if you're wrong, you take your stop loss. If I take a couple haircuts on the way down, that's okay, right? Eventually, right? Two things happen: the world ends or the market bounces, and if the world ends, doesn't matter the size of your trading account anyway. I hope you got some farmland that you can grow some potatoes on, or the market bounces and you're there for it. And that's the main thing, is just to make sure that you stay alive. So if you're going to take your shots, take your shots. Like for me, again, my plan is real simple here. Right? We had a huge bounce off a major AVWAP last night. It came in across the board. I showed you guys the crypto buying, the futures buying, the individual stocks buying. Across the board, they bounced the market last night. If that level holds, I'm still a bull. If that level breaks, it's time to go. Now, I'm not going to be just buying a bunch of stuff up here. I want to see, us come in and maybe test that or get close to that level or something like that. But as soon as you make your trading binary and you make your decisions binary, then it just makes your life way easier. So even if you're not going to go fully systematic like me, if you can come up with binary decision points like that, like here is the low of the day and the AVWAP. As long as we're above that, I'm good. Below that, I have to reassess. I'm not like constantly thinking and second guessing and whatever.
Yeah.
It's now just a binary decision point. And especially in times where emotions might be a little elevated, fear might be running a little nuts, just make those decisions binary. And then also, thing we got to keep in mind, so I'm sure you went over this. This is like the last real big earnings day of this season. Like, look at
Yeah.
all these. Not,
Yeah, big day,
huge.
big day. Tonight,
Robinhood, keep
Robinhood, we had a question in the chat. When was Hood's? It was tonight. Wanted to get there to some of the earnings really quickly, but we could run through it really quickly. So I'll just jump on it here, guys. Of course, Uber came in with beating expectations. Well, Uber, we're looking today. McDonald's, a little down there. Lemonade did well. That's one that I actually like long term. You see this? This is what you want to see. You see that upslope like that, and the stock price doing better. Ching ching. Those are ching chings. Like, you know what it is? A lot of guys that are like, let's say, money managers are looking for stocks like this, because this they can write down on a thesis and give it to their higher ups, and they can't be mad at them. The stock price is going up, and they're making more money. You don't look
Right.
at that guy and you get mad at him. You're just like, well, let's give it to the technical analyst guy to go trade the stock now, right? And these are what you want to be looking at if you're retail like us, like going
Well, and
through
that's the
this.
William O'Neill style, right? That's what you'd look
Mhm.
for, is give me things that have earnings growth and revenue
Earnings
growth,
growth, right?
and then a good chart pattern.
Yep.
If,
Dock
if,
end,
if you're making more money, your stock's going to
right?
go up, right?
It,
It's don't have to overcomplicate
that's
it.
don't make it hard, right? And if it's the opposite trend or really shaky, those are always going to
Hmm.
be harder to judge, right? And I think that's sometimes that what traders do, and they make it harder for themselves, right? Humana, and it's growing. It's not as fast, but it's growing, and that's all you want to see, right? Tonight, expectations with Hood. Look at the money expected. Big jump there, right? So this is what you want to continue to see, right? We'll see if they can continue to beat it, right? EPS has been beating consistently. They've only dropped like what? They beat 12 out of the last 17 quarters. So the expectation this time would be a beat, right? And those types of things are really good. All right, 9:30. Let's get after it, traders. Let's see what we can do today. Markets opening tomorrow. Celsius, QBTS tomorrow. Oscar Health. Where's Steve when you need him?
Oh, Steve, I've been keeping half an eye on it for our buddy, and it's not been doing well. It's looking a little sick. There's probably a joke there for the healthcare company looking sick. But again, for me, I'll just let you guys know when the day trades come through. I don't have a whole lot when on the go when it came to earnings. I certainly had some, but just not a crazy amount. Waiting for GDRX. I know was one that
Tesla's one to
reported
watch.
earnings. That thing's ripping here. But I've got my eyes just here on the ES off the open. I just want to see what's happening
Tesla.
right off the jump when it comes. Oh, that's another thing too. Yeah, that votes today.
Yeah,
So
I
we got to
like
keep an
Tesla
eye
for a
there
run.
on Tesla.
Yeah, I like Tesla for a run today, man. I'm gonna take a quick one out the gate to a smaller size, and then just look for this to just kind of get the run back, right? It's a nice pullback that washes traders out, and now today they can just run it.
Mhm.
So I'm looking for like 450s If I can get 450s, like a fake out to the upside, maybe a pullback, and then the continuation upside, I think that's the best way to look here. The biggest thing we like yesterday, remember how shorts were chasing? Longs are chasing today. So do the same thing that we were saying yesterday, right? Being patient is what mattered, right? Unless you're trading the opposite action out the gates, right? So I think that you just got to be a little patient if you're trying to get pullbacks, looking for 30-minute hourly levels to come back into play, and then we can go long, right? Because if we just long right here and it pulls back to 448, you're going to feel like a dummy, right? Real quick. Because the next thing you know, you're longing charts that are just pulling back to prior resistance. So then you get washed out at prior resistance versus what you should have done, which would be a little more patient, right? I think this is the market to be patient, not to chase moves.
Yeah, so it's interesting seeing the SPY here, just kind of
Coming
chilling
through.
out. IWM is breaking out here. So here's your IWM, here's your small caps.
Woohoo.
First 2 minutes, a nice little
Uber
surge,
down
nice little
fast.
breakout in the small cap. And then IWM's or SPY's just chilling. So, right, large cap not doing crazy, small cap doing really, really well. So take a look at, right, XLF holding up nicely. Breaking out to new highs, XLV holding up nicely, breaking out to new highs. Yeah, so there's some nice movement going on here, kind of under the hood. Just not in tech, right? So we're seeing more of this rotation where tech is
AMD.
trying to push up here just a little bit.
AMD will help. It's doing really well out the gates here. I can't trade it here. It's a little bit too far for me now, but
Oh
it's
yeah,
doing really well. Bloom Energy getting back up there. Hims one to watch on a nice bounce after yesterday's wash. It's funny that's coming up today. MSOS. I think that's the government shutdown coming back into play. Or looking like it's going to come back. AMAT giving you good lift. KLAC. So if you're looking for tech names that are doing well, those look good in semiconductor equipment names right out the gates here. And I'm looking for quick moves up if that's what you want to be seeing. Trends that I think could hold like CRM. I still like that name here on the weeklies, still holding really well. Having a good day to start. So ARM is another
yeah.
trade that I was looking at.
SPY's turning here, pushing higher. XLF continuing. Well, never mind. I just brought up the chart. I had to look down. It was up, and now we're reversing here. And XLV is doing great. So healthcare continues to be the place to keep an eye on, to take a look at. Some nice movement there in the healthcare space. So Palantir. Yeah, Palantir is doing a little bit of sell there. That was a great trade yesterday, but it looks like I'm probably going to be stopped out of that position, that swing today. But had a good trade on that yesterday. Yeah, definitely selling there. And then there's PLTD for people who want to take the short. That's like a $6 stock that you can play there. And this is what we talked about, right? We're showing some, right, AMD ripping and Palantir selling. This is just more of this. This is not the market that it was before where everything is going up. It's the market where we got some going up, some going down, which is great, right? It's as long as you're one of those people who likes to trade stocks and likes to pick stocks, you're having a fun time. If you're someone who just wants the stock market to go up all the time, well, sorry.
APLD bouncing back today. I'm looking for stocks that are holding their 2-day move, not just the 1-day move, right? So KLAC, beautiful flag pattern, but that's an expensive stock, doing really well. Looking at Bros in a little bit of a flag pattern, but not much on that. Bloom Energy holding a little bit well, but not much out there right now. Ballet on a nice little flag pattern, hold short-term moving average. So that could be a name. Looking at Tesla down here at support, it's almost getting to a buy area for me. I could already start here, and I do see some buying coming in on the flow right at the 62s and 60s, 20,000 shares. I'm looking at TSLL, but yeah, they're starting to dip their toes in Tesla here. I think they're all looking like me. They're all looking at that 15-minute support.
Yeah, and it's it's a bit of an unnerving one because
Yeah.
the expectation is from again the stuff I read on Twitter, the expectation is he gets his package. So
Yeah, expectations to get this package,
if he
100%.
if he gets his package, right, that could be interesting. If he doesn't, that could be huge headline risk for not only that. I think it probably the market in general. I think Tesla's big enough that that could be a market moving event if he ends up getting denied that in any kind of way, right?
Ooh, alerts. There's the hit for Tesla. Ooh, Hertz also right back down. All right, there's the
Yeah,
hit
just a
on Tesla.
very
I'll take a shot here.
very choppy market here, right? So we have the IWM, we have small caps holding right near highs. We have KRE regional banks breaking out, so small banks doing fantastic, and then we have the Qs, right? Qs selling, so split market. We talked about this. This has happened a few times already this year. We've had a couple chats about, and it could happen, right? It's just the way she happens. So
Starter on Tesla.
Zim, ZIM. Trying to take a short here in Zim, which is a shipping company according to its name. That's the first trade to come through today.
Yeah.
So this has
Zim shipping.
been a bit of a slow day for the bot, and that happens the day after really volatile days. The system will get slow, right? It's not a bug. It's a feature, right? It's just the way it will happen. It's how things are set up, and whatever SU is from a swing trading side of things. Looking at an SU. No,
All right,
not that
guys.
one.
Got 200 shares of Tesla or TSLL looking to add here as it starts to bounce back through the 2052, the 2060s. Those will be my ads. There, just got one trigger there. Now I need to hold off the low no matter what. And that's a pretty good trade there off of 2040s. So that's going to be my risk here. Looking for this to start going right back up. Tesla looking good on the bounce here. So I'll show you guys that trade here. As it starts to bounce, I was looking for this level to hold right here. I'm trading TSLL. It'll be very similar to this. And now it's about to trigger my third ad. There you go. Now I got 600 shares and really trying to push here into this position. Let's see if this can really start to climb. Now I'm holding off the low of the day. The same thing you could do off of Tesla's chart, which is 445.32, and looking for this to drive back up there, get back to 21, and then just start climbing here. So the idea is to get back to the resistance. Risk to return on this is really well. Looking really good on this. Now I just need to just hold 2050s really and start to climb.
Yeah, very quickly you got a pretty simple trade, and that's what you want, right? If we're holding that low, we're good. Yeah, Axon, I know, got smoked last night on earnings. Oh, ripping back through here. So getting some buy in there. Nice little bounce there. And again, going through the market, we're trying again. So we put a little bit of a dip there off the open. We're trying to push back through, trying to get some strength going on there intraday, and holding on pretty strong. So we'll see if this can continue. We can continue to get some sort of push there on the market. That will certainly help out Tesla and other trades like that. But we're just not really. We're struggling here. So IWM gave up. It was the early strength, and now it's selling back a little bit. XLK hit yesterday's high, and now that's pulling back just a little bit there.
Basic materials bounce back today. Energy, communications, industrials, tech, but led by basic materials. That's a strong bounce back there, guys. So if you're looking for areas that are hot, those areas are hot today.
Tack asking what positive news we had. I didn't see anything. I just saw buying kind of come in across the board. I didn't see a reason why. Now Trump's been talking this morning, but that started at 8:30.
It's just the way that they're doing it right now, guys. It's choppy action, so they can't just give it to the shorts, right? What does this do? Maximum pain. It's right now. Maximum pain is not bull short. It's over trade. They're just trying to make people overtrade. Like, just think about it perfectly. Like if you got short yesterday, right? You thought you had it this morning, right? You that, like you said, Michael, the overnight action was just dropping. You're like, time to go to sleep. I got this. You wake up
Hmm.
this morning, and what are you saying by the time you get to the market? Oh, crap. I'm getting squeezed out. This is what we talk about. This is why the maximum pain today is to bounce it again. Because if you dip yesterday, guess what? You got washed out, and then today they're right back at those levels. And you're like, oh man, why did I get out on the dip buy? You see how it's both sides getting smacked here. So you got to just be careful. Got to be careful. About to get out on Tesla. If it breaks here, the 2040s, out is 2037. Stop is set. Don't got to
And
worry.
then yeah, with these kind of markets, again, there are ways to play them, right? Where you're
Uber
you're
bouncing.
buying dips, you're selling rips, but you have to be comfortable with that style, and that's not an easy style to do. Where you're buying things on the way down, you're selling them on the way up. Some people really excel at that, but yeah, that's just kind of the environment you're in. Where, well, like you're seeing with Mitch today, right? Going after that Tesla to see if it can dig in here, looking for
Yeah.
stuff that's getting a little
Momentum.
smacked, and try to take the other side of those trades. Interesting. Bitcoin doing amazing here. So we're back over 103 here in Bitcoin, and then Ethereum as well, trying to push. But on the
Squeeze.
SPY, we're at lows of the day here for the S&P 500. So just watch that.
Yeah, that's where you got to be a little bit careful, right? The VIX action. So I said the same level that you said, right? Like we break through that 672, watch out, right? So
Yeah, well, I think, and it's one of those. I think it's going to be such an important level because everybody's going to be watching that low of that, where buying just kind of came in out of nowhere, and they just said, "We're just buying it today."
Hims
And
is interesting here, just to put a trade out there. But this morning I drew like this. I said, well, you see that like that buy programming that was on like this morning, right? Well, it just gave up right into the open, right? Classic wash, right? Now I really am looking at more like a trend line approach for pullbacks. If we can come to 674s, 673, 30s, bounce out of that range. But if it breaks that lower line, right, that's 672, that's where we get concerned. Washes right now are just coming back into the morning's range, right? They're just literally going right back into hourly supports. Prior resistance, 674 holds. We're still looking good here. So we'll see what happens. And one of the things that I like is this on the left. We talked about yesterday how it was all bleeding red, right? Well, look at this. It's pretty much green. There's only financial services that are red right now. And what happened there? It was a strong day yesterday, just a pullback into that. Cyclicals pulling back, barely red. Now you're starting to see what? Technology trying to climb up the ladder. That's what you want to see. If tech really starts to take off, the market comes right back into play. Nvidia could be a lead through 200. Not a bad stock to kind of watch today. We'll see what happens.
yeah, because even names like Palantir are trying to dig in at the low. Right, still obviously have some room to go, but trying to dig in there.
Yeah, a meta reversal will be an interesting one too there. Like if Meta can get going, Uber starting to get going after a good report yesterday, brought them back down really significantly, tried to wash them out. I'm wondering if they start to push through this 95 and start to drive this back. But looking around out there, guys, looking for trades. Him's back at the 9 EMA is one name that I'm looking at, but it's definitely a tough trade on Hims because the back and forth action after the earnings. Yesterday was a wash on the earnings. Will they just recover it today?
Yeah, and that's the summarizes these choppy markets perfectly, right? Is that it's going to be probably a little bit of both of those. I guess some number just came through.
Out on
Market
TSLL there.
concern.
It got me right at the bottom and came right back up. So I'm still watching to get right back in there.
U.S. October services PMI and composite PMI actually just came out. So some numbers, like I know we're getting some. I know we got some job numbers from some people. We got some,
Yeah, we
so
got
some
ADP.
stuff coming through. So that could be, because yeah, they're dipping it right here off the open. But I wonder if this is just yeah, we're trying to get back to highs of the day for the SPY. So we're trying to recover here. SPY getting close to highs, IWM putting in a little bit of a bottom.
Taking
It's
a
just
shot.
been a choppy open. So make sure you're not. Sometimes we get these kind of opening surges that go, and that's just not today. That's not what we've been seeing here today. So we have to sit back and just kind of let things happen. Again, Zim is that only trade that has come through for me, down a little bit on that. So it's been a very boring initial kind of day trade here. So
All right, got right back into that TSLL with that report coming out there. Could see it kind of holding in here. And I also got HIMS there, looking for it to really hold the low now. Get back up. HIMS is doing really well. Just quick bounce back above the 45, looking good here. And it
yeah,
loves to go.
IWM is
So
trying to recover SPY through the high of the day. So they may
yeah,
just dip
both on
us off the
HIMS.
open, and now they might be ripping at us.
HIMS doing really well here. I'm trying to add on pullbacks here.
Yeah, seeing a little bit across the board here. SPY really pushing now, trying to get to pre-market highs. Q's joining us, a little bit lagging still. That's the problem child du jour. But we have IWM through pre-market highs, through today's highs, and then the SPY is trying to keep up. So we're trying to turn green. I'm just seeing more and more of the things that I look at are switching there from red to green, going positive here. And then I don't know if, because I'm trying to look, there was this like Trump schedule. He's chatting a whole bunch today. I wonder if he got a bunch of calls yesterday about people's portfolios being down. And they said, get out there, say some bullish stuff.
Get out there. All right. Well, I'll tell you what I'm hoping gets out there is HIMS. That I want to see it start holding 45 and really take off here. Have a really good position. Don't want to add and ruin it too much here. I'm looking for pullbacks to add, but that's below 45s. If not, I'll just hold off here. Looking for the takeoff, right? Smaller size, looking for bigger moves is what it needs to be. Here's Tesla now coming back. Now this is looking good for me on Tesla. I stepped up to the plate after getting stopped out first. Used the same low, got right back in. Good risk to return. Risk is 10 cents. The return could be potentially it's 50, it's 81 ticks. So it's good risk to return, right? It's like an 8-to-1 outlook. I'll take that and I'll take it again and again and again. Let's see if it gets going here now, getting a nice little lift. Might sell into a little bit more push here for Tesla just because I have two trades really good into the green right now. And sometimes when that happens, I take some profits, right? Just pay myself. You already did your work. There's nothing wrong with taking some profits. So it'll be Tesla above like 2075. I'll take some off. I'll be up like 200 so I can remove the loss essentially. The loss that I have, I'm just going to cover that amount immediately and then just let it work. Look at HIMS go. I don't even want to look at it. I'm just seeing.
don't
I don't even want
don't
to look at it. I like my
don't
screen is up here. You guys see my eyes down because I'm just like seeing the money just
don't
stack. Look at
don't
that
do it.
breakout.
Yeah,
Oh,
that looks like that's going to take a shot at highs here.
oh, I
And
don't
then
even want to look. That thing is just riding up almost
yeah,
400 already on that. So this is when I be smart about Tesla, right? If I got one name that's just taking off, as much as I love this Tesla position, I can't let it hurt me right now, right? One position's taking off. Don't let it hurt me, right? Even if it comes back, so be it. At this point, it's either take off or let it go. So I'm letting Tesla try to take off.
wildflowers and trim the garden there, right?
Yep.
So we're right at the 2-day VWAP here on the SPY. We came right to the tick there and then reversed just a little bit. So now we need to keep a close eye on that to see if we can get through that
Where's
here.
Tesla?
And I'll just grab so you can see, right? So this line right here, that's the 2-day VWAP. We came right to it. So again, this is the average price of everyone who bought yesterday and today. Looks like we're making it through there a little bit now, but just to show, right? If you take a look at, like your Teslas, right? It's right here. Take a look at your Palantir. These things can definitely become resistance points all the way up here at 190. But the SPY looks like we're attempting, but I wouldn't be surprised if this area becomes some kind of gross choppy action for another couple minutes or a little bit anyway.
All right, looking for a little break here in Tesla, just the smallest amount, but it's just not getting above the 2070s, so it could come right back on me. Just got to be smart. Just got to be smart here. Hims is just ripping, dude. Just ripping.
Good.
Let's go.
Well, right. We talked about healthcare, so this I guess is like
It's coming
mega
back.
high beta healthcare.
Yeah.
Let's actually check on. No, never mind. I was like, let's check on our boys Oscar to see if that's no,
Oscar. No, stay
no,
away. Stay
down,
away. Bad.
down today, down
Bad
100%.
boy. Bad. All right, guys. With that Tesla move right back above the 2063, I'm just hitting a break-even stop and going to go focus on the cash right now. I need to take some off there on HIMS because it's just too much too fast here. So you know what I do? Just cash a little bit, man. That solves the problem a little
Yourself.
bit. 2630 is about to hit there. Boom. Just sold a little bit there, right? It's through the highs, so at least I didn't like take away from my trade there, right? Wanted to take the highs, I took a little bit more, right? So there I just paid myself. I still have the 200 shares, but at least this puts me in a really good core position to just push on the day. Looks like they're coming to get my TSLL on break even. They're probably going to hit it here, but that's fine. If it hits, let it hit. Right there, they came and got it fast. And then you know it because it didn't even take a second down below that, right? There's my entry, my average was 2052 there. It's just sitting right there, right? So I'm looking for a move back above 2060s. I could always get back into Tesla if I need to. The idea here was just to limit any downside risk because I had such a quick winner in HIMS. And in this market right now, right? The SPY did give us a nice candle here, but I'm not going to trust it. I'm not going to trust it, right? I don't want to trust it. I just want to go ahead and make money today. That's the key. Making money, guys. It's not always about home runs. For me, at this point, it's about just make a good day and just move forward, right? One day at a time, guys. We get to the goals. That's the way it got to be.
That's it. Just grinding. VNO, whatever this is, the robot bought someone. It says a realty trust, so this is probably going to be the most boring stock in the whole market that it picked up here. So, just looking to buy a dip on that. A little bit overextended from yesterday's play. Again, looking at the SPY, we are kind of handily through that 2-day VWAP. So, definitely perking up there, trying to grind quite a bit higher on that one, which has just been great. So we just need to keep focus there that the dip so far is being bought again. For how long and for how much, who knows? But it seems like that's what's going on, that we're buying dips. So, oh geez, yeah, we're ripping here now.
Yeah, it's rip away moves. Look for the stocks that are strong right here. You shouldn't have to trade a stock that's weak, right? You should be trading the stocks that are ripping, holding short-term moving average, like Mara bouncing back. Like, those are the names I'm looking at. That's why I went for HIMS. It was a perfect, just 9 EMA pullback. AMD was a beautiful one too. If you played that one, AMD big break to the upside, really nice move. ETHU bouncing back, right? You're getting these bounce back moves to wash out the weak hands. They're going to keep washing you out, and that's just the way it is right now, guys. So watch out there.
Ethereum up over 2% today.
Yeah.
So I had this bleed in Ethereum. Looks like we're bouncing here now. Huge liquidation event yesterday, which could just be really, really telling. We have IWM up almost 1% now. IWM is higher beta, which just means it will move more. So, it being up that much isn't crazy. But, we even have the Qs up 1/3%. So really across the move here, or across the just board, we're getting a pretty sizable rally.
Out there on HIMS, guys, took the gain there. I placed a stop. They came and grabbed it. You know how that goes. But this is money time.
Surging so much. So it makes sense. A little bit overdone.
Come and grab it. And they're going to come and grab liquidity now that there's bids that are probably placed underneath HIMS, right? When you get this type of big move, that's also about it, right? There's liquidity there for them to grab. Now, the trade is not to run away from HIMS. I'm going to keep trying to play it. How do I play it? Come back to me. create wash effects, and I can come back in. A trade on swing that I'm looking at is NOK. I'm looking at more of these communication equipment names. You could look at this with Cisco. This is that type of trade. This is that data center support with LUMN, that kind of communication, data centers trying to get assistance. So I like that trade. NOK, that's Nokia off of the 7 level. So just mentioning that I'll have it on the radar because I don't want it to pop to 720s and then people be like, well, Mitch, you never mentioned that. You know what I mean? So just putting it on the
Yeah.
radar out there for NOK, Nokia. Yes, I'm saying that looks good. Why? They don't do what they used to do. Let's just say that much.
Well, and they got a big deal recent. They got that Nvidia deal, and that's really all you gotta say, right? You
Yeah.
get that Nvidia deal, and you're good to go. I just ADRs, man. ADRs just trigger me.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. But I mean, when you're trading on us, like with the eval, I don't think you got to worry about that.
Well, no, I'm just saying that like most of the move happens overnight. So you've by the time the market
You got in the
opens,
gap up
it's like
here. Right. Yeah, you got in your gap
yeah,
up. You know what's been a nice trade out the
you,
gates is the VXX meltdown, man. Maybe, I got to short the VIX more often. I play it decently to the upside. I need to play it to the downside. That's what you got to do? You got to just practice it. That's all it is.
yeah. Oh, I know a lot of people who make that is their entire trading philosophy is intraday trading of the VIX, right? That's their whole shorting in
It's not,
particular because
it's especially on days
VIX,
like today where you're getting this kind of candle. These types of candles are easy to load into the VIX.
yeah, because most of the time, right, the VIX spikes, so and then grinds lower, and then spikes and then grinds lower. So if you can just have a plan to stay away from the spikes, and then short when it starts to grind lower, it reminds me a lot of the people who like to short these penny stocks. It's a lot of the same type of action, the same style of trading in which you're trying to just sidestep the big move, and then you're coming into the other side and you're saying, okay, well, I sidestepped the big move and now I'm going to try to ride this thing grind lower, and it's the opposite of what most people try to do with the VIX. They want that spike, right? Because that spike you can make a lot of money on if you time it, but if most of the time it's grinding lower, it's like you're trying to do the risk reward thing. Again, there's plenty of people out there who that's their entire career is trading the VIX from both sides. So
VIX coming back, not VIX, Tesla's coming back here. It's right back through the spot where I could buy, which is 2060 here. I'm even thinking about taking a little bit of a swing here. If I get a runaway move, I can maybe hold into tonight because there's no way in hell they're not paying Elon. There's just no way in hell, dude, because it would ruin the company. It literally ruined the company from one day to another. So I think this is kind of one of those bets that would definitely be a risky one. But I got 20 cents to risk off of. If I can hopefully get back to like 23s today on TSLL, wouldn't be a bad thought. Let's see what happens.
well, yeah, and if you just take 3 or 4 paper cuts, and then eventually it moves, then she moves, right? Even
Yeah.
back to yesterday's high is a great trade, and that's just yesterday's high. This thing has been the most kind of, I guess, frustrating for swing trader stocks in a long
Oh,
time
yeah.
because this just has done nothing and nothing in an incredibly volatile way for what's this going back to September. It's just been sideways.
And they love to do that to you with Tesla. They lull you to sleep almost, and then they move it. One name I'm
Yeah,
watching is ARM on the undercut of 158. That's the undercut strategy on ARM. I love the weeklies also for these, Michael. So we could start to look at this for weekly undercuts and rallies. So we can combine the daily, intraday, and weekly approach there, and those could be like even higher conviction ones, right? So now we're using a weekly, a daily, and an intraday action to determine our trade. So this could be interesting. That like that's how I select these, right? That's how I get them in my mind because I have a tendency of always looking at deeper time frames and then just using that to determine, okay, so where would they want to bounce this, right? It's right here. It's the wash Like get everyone out that was like, oh no, but 166 is the support. Like, on the weekly, it's 160. So now they've slightly undercut 160. Now you needed to get back above that and show you the strength here. So
Yeah, just watching here. The SPY, a little bit of a pullback. So let's see the 2-day VWAP. Let's see where in this move, if we can, dig in, find a little bit of a support, a little bit of a place to hold in there. That would be good. That's what we want to see is where do buyers step in? Straight line up, those are fun, but you want to really see when it comes in, where do the buyer? Because if we come all the way back to the opening range, that's not what you want to see, right? You want to see a little bit of a pullback, and then you want to see buyers kind of eat that right up and say, "Oh, that's great. That's exactly what I wanted," and then just kind of take a big shot right after that. So,
all right, pullbacks could come into play. Remember, they're gonna try to wash us. This is the reason why I sold the rip. Right? You guys know me. I'm normally a hold and see if I can get the bigger move there. Now I'm trying to sell rips right now.
yeah, we dipped there just a bit, and now we're trying to reverse that. See if we can get a little bit of a push.
Looking around the sectors to see what's leading. And remember how I told you guys that technology was working its way up? Well, it got to the top. It's up 0.7% from the open. How are you going to hold this market up? How are you going to drive things? It has to be the big boys. It has to be tech. It's not going to be like financials will slowly trickle. That's what I see right now. They're trickling, right? They're just going off of the overall market. Where I do see some strength though today that is a concern is energy coming right back into play. So there it is, a nice little bounce on XOM and some energy plays if you're looking for that type of play. That's such a tough play though, man. I've seen this thing chop around too much to believe in it, right? So, XLI bouncing back today. That had that gap down and it's doing pretty well. So that's good to see that that's holding up well. Caterpillar, GE. Look at GE. That's a nice move. It's a nice bounce back. It's kind of a boring stock, but the 15-minute looks pretty interesting.
Give me boring stocks all day long. Give me slow, consistent.
That's a boring one right there, man. That's a boring one that will
All
make you
day.
money, man. I still remember, man. I still remember, and I still give this guy hell. I won't name him I won't name him, but I was like when GE was like at like let's say, I would say it was like probably like trading at like 60 or like 30s. It was just starting to come back up, and I was like, I think GE might be able to actually come out of this. He's such a boomer. He's been so destroyed by GE. He was just like, no.
Oh, well, yeah.
Stay away.
For those who don't know, right? The monthly stock on GE it went nowhere. This is year 2000.
Yeah.
And then it just went absolutely nowhere.
Ask a trader that's been
Ages.
trading since 2000 how they feel about GE.
It's just, right? Nothing for ages and ages and ages. Huge dip in 2000 and
Destroys your mind though, right? Because 20 years later, you're like, there's no way in hell GE's coming back.
Well, this is always one of my favorite charts, right? This is Microsoft. So this is the dot-com bubble where it sold off like 60% and then did nothing all the way. It didn't make new highs till 2013. Right? So you spent so long just dying. There are so many people who probably didn't buy the Microsoft breakout because of that. And now it's up like 1,500% or something.
Tesla not being able to hang on, the guys. It's right back through the lows, and they're trying to watch some people there. So watch out there, traders. How we doing? It's good to check up on you guys. I know we see Talk throwing in some messages, but other traders, jump in there. It's good to see you guys out there. All right, looking around out there, guys. SPY holding in here. So let's go take a look at what's leading SPY. Take a look at what stocks are leading SPY here. AVGO, tech name, right? Match Group, another tech name. I guess people are trying to date, or the old people are trying to date. FSLR, solar stock, ripping. I never trust technology runs when the leading industry is solar, and that's exactly what this is. Look at SEDG. That thing is just ripping off of a reversal. Was that an earnings reversal? Oh yeah, that is what you call earnings reversal. That's what you call algos get.
Yeah. Yeah, they
If you
got
had
that
an earnings
wrong.
algos, you got that so wrong. That's why I think you're and it's a great question to ask someone like you that believes in that. What do you think about earnings algos? They try to read like earnings and make judgments off of that.
It's just such a hard game. It's just such a like you're playing against. If you haven't read Flash Boys, to the audience, definitely do it. Right? They're talking about how they're buying millions of dollars to get like 2 feet closer to an exchange so they can be like milliseconds faster. And it's just that's a game for the big boys, and good luck, because you need
Oh
the
man.
most powerful computers that have to be able to read this stuff instantly. You have people, it's just no way, no way. Good luck to you. And then if you get it wrong like you do with this one, it's one of those, you're probably right very frequently. You're probably got like a really mega high win rate. And then every now and then you come along, you get a CEDG where you just failed miserably. And what do? You got it dead wrong. You got to just eat it and move on, right?
I guess you do. You eat it and move on. Let's see if Run wants to keep the run going hard here. The run, run, run. All right, stocks are getting boring now. They're pulling back. We're going into chop zone, guys. The chop zone has begun.
SPY just hit a new high though. So what? Something did it. IWM is getting close here.
It's just tech. It's energy and tech kind of rallying together. That's the fun one, right? When energy and tech.
Palantir's trying to bounce. Then what about Tesla? He's a little weaker bounce there in Tesla. I'm just trying to figure out where the XLF, that one's really pushing higher. XLV, that one's moving as well, right?
There's still a lot of momentum names that are red from the open. I will say that. Like there is like Ouster, they ousted it. They took it to the shed. They just freaking they
Wait, no, this is amazing. Hold on. I just got a
what are you
notification
getting?
from Twitter. So remember I did that whole rant about how everyone is dumb and doesn't understand how
Yeah.
this Michael Burry's thing, the
Yeah.
stock Twitch just got community noted. So there, so it's enough people were like, dudes, this is not. So if you missed it, I think they're gonna clip some of it. I did a whole I brought out my iPad and I drew about how anyone who said that Michael Burry was short $1 billion worth of Palantir did not understand how options work. And then all of a sudden now you're seeing these. It's because I retweeted it. I guess they gave me a notification that it got noted. And so it's a notional value of market value of just $2 a share. So they were saying, so he did like 1 million instead of what it was, like 20 million or something instead. So it was, I just think it's funny because I'm ranting, and the pushback, man, the people who were fighting me on this tweet was just crazy. And all wrong. Just be very skeptical. Everyone's trying to scare you, right? So just be very, very skeptical on it, right?
Oh man, there's not much holding right now. FLNC finally starting to come back down here. I'm looking at that as a potential short.
XLV is trying to push up a little bit. It's getting a little bit of a pop here in the healthcare space. SPY is just kind of chopping around, but sitting at highs. Looking at like Palantir, looking at a couple of these names to see if we can hold some of the crazier dudes out there. I think that would help the market because we're getting a lot of these like Tesla and Palantir selling. So if these guys reverse and push higher, that might be what the market really needs for its permission to move.
Let's see if Hims wants to go for another rally here. think I might give it a shot here off the lows. You got 3 minutes of lows right at the same spot, 45.69. Gonna give it a chance to come and break it down, but if it doesn't, it could start reversing out of here and holding the short-term moving average. So I do take it. I'll take it small at first, 100 shares. There it is, trying to get back above 46. Take a little bit there just to give a little exposure here, and then we'll see if it starts to pull back. Quick little pullback to 79 here. Gonna hold into the 60s. All right, here comes that test to 45.66. Let's see if it actually hits it or breaks it. Found some buying there at 11,000 shares at 45.96. So testing them down a little bit makes sense. They jumped on it like I did, but they jumped on it with 11,000 shares and are a little bit like spooked open faced. What's going on? So let's see if Hims wants to make that move off of this level here. Here comes the 60s test here. There's a test. Let's see if they find some buyers. If not, it could flush through this. There you go, a little bounce there. Now I'm going to set my stop here at 45.60s here, which is about 40 bucks. So there it comes. It hits it real quick, as soon as I drop it. You see, it don't take long when I drop him to come and get him. I reverse it right out the hole there. Look at that, 45.86 quickly there. I think I might have gotten the low.
Palantir.
Yeah, literally the low.
Tesla.
Literally the low. The stop, the low on the 1 minute, the fastest time frame there, literally they come and get it. A 60 spot, man. They undercut it right on there and then just come and get it. So let's see if Hims just comes right back up now. So that's okay because it was the smaller size, right? That's why you want to be smaller size first. Wait for the stock to work for you.
Oh, such a tight stop too, yeah. For that, and then there's the HIMZ if you want to save even more buying power. That's like 12 bucks now.
Looks good here still. At least it's still holding up well above VWAP, right? Those are the names that I want to look at today. If I want to trade something, I don't want to trade something that's going above and below VWAP. I want something that just says, you know what? I'm not coming back. So let's see if Hims is this. Now it's wait above 46. That's where I want to wait. I don't want to just jump in here in between the chop. I want to wait for it to show me 46. Mara holding well, like names like that, holding above VWAP. Names that just want to hold above VWAP right now are probably the best bet. Because why? There's not much weakness coming back at them.
Yeah, so SPY, right, in a range. Again, I want to see what happens now. That this area, this kind of 670, 650, it's the last place buyers came in. Let's see if we come back down there and hold that. And then IWM, we're right back to VWAP. So I want to see if that holds as well.
Gold shorters coming in, man.
Been a choppy one. And then Ethereum, looking at Ethereum is actually holding up really well here, up 2% today on Ethereum. And then, to be up at all today, like if the market just closed right here, I think that would still be a bit of a win. So
trying to get short some AU. Gotta open my swing account. This swingy. Gotta get the swing account on. Take a swing on some gold short. Patience, young grasshoppers. Patience.
mm-hmm. It's definitely the day for it, right? Again, I think this IWM chart kind of tells the story that, right? If we look at this RSP as well, it's very range bound. So the SPY is doing well, but we're getting kind of your average stock is just trying to figure it out. It feels like this morning doesn't really have, you can see that with like Palantir is another way to look at it, where it sells off a bit, comes back to VWAP, sells off a bit more, like not a huge amount of action on either side. And even with Tesla, that has been relatively weak. It's weak in this kind of really dramatic, kind of choppy way. And it makes sense. A lot of people probably had a real bad time yesterday, and they've got some jitters going on here. They're looking to give us a direction or give us something calm or give us some sort of news, and we're just not seeing any kind of news there at all, right?
I'll remind what I've been trying to tell even myself more and more. Right now is the time where the max pain is just over trading, just trying to stop you out on longs, trying to stop you out on shorts. You notice yourself doing that habit, realize you're doing the exact habit the market wants you to do, which is over trade right now. So sometimes you just got to be what's called the observer. There's a book. It's by a famous New York Yankees pitcher, and he says just be the observer of your mind. Sometimes just catch what's there. Sometimes is half the battle. Ask yourself, what are you thinking right now? Why are you thinking those things? Right? Just even asking yourself that can tell you it, because you're literally getting the answer. You're just fighting the answer, which is it's not time to overtrade. Like right now on my let's say the day trade account, right? You guys saw me take what 3 trades. 2 of them landed really nice into the green, right? I've already had a good day. Stop trading so much, Mitch. Stop trading so much.
And
Take it
just
easy.
lower the size, right? Look to make, $10 on a
Yeah,
trade.
and look
Just
at like
little
hourly
tiny.
charts, right? Look at deeper time frames. Don't get too stuck in the 1 minutes right now, especially the 1 minutes, because they're gonna wreck you. You're gonna get excited. You're gonna put on size. They're gonna pull it back. You're gonna get excited. You're gonna pull it back. There's times where the market just does this, and what I've learned is just about not trading. It's not about that you're right or wrong any more or less. It's just that there specifically it's time to wash hands. And the number one thing you don't want to do is just keep giving up money, keep giving up money, keep giving up
Hmm.
money. You put a good tweet yesterday. I think that was you said like it was a tweet of the day. It was a tweet of the day, man.
Oh, what
The-
Douglas?
yeah, the exposure tweet. It was the tweet of the day, and I think that
Yeah,
everyone was facing that yesterday.
this guy's hilarious. Felt like a financial advisor or something. So not really our stuff, but hilarious. But he's like, on days
So
like this, I'm
funny.
glad I've diversified across stocks, gold, and Bitcoin because now I can lose money in 3 totally different ways. And it was just right. This is why I love you. You'll see me when markets pull back. You'll see me way more active on Twitter because
Yeah.
it's just way more fun. Because it's like everyone's got like this shared like pain going on, and the memes
Oh
are great. When the market's just screaming higher every day, for some reason everyone gets mad, and when the market sells off, people actually end up getting happier, which makes no sense to me, but it's just the way it goes. So, just again for my trade, I took another one here, SNPS, a buy here in synopsis, whatever
yeah,
SNPS
it's good.
is,
That's not a bad name.
and this one's just overextended, just trying to look for a little bit of a bounce here. A lot of those things here, most of my trades today are some derivative of that, where it's like, okay, this is looking for things that got creamed yesterday and are selling a little bit today, and just trying to kind of dip my feet in and take a little bit of a trade here to the other side. Um,
Yeah, and
and again, it's just the way I day trade. It's just market making style.
yeah, it's a stock that's already gone through a bear market, right? At some point, it's going to get a bounce. It's literally gone through a bear market. It's down
That's it.
40% from the highs. It's already done it. Those are the names that are going to at some point get a ridiculous bounce also. right? That's what I feel. I don't feel like the market's just necessarily, I think it's just washing out a lot of the strong bullish upside that came in October. It's just like pulling it back, like taming that, right? And then I think that towards the end of November and December, we get another pickup, right? And I think that we have to be sometimes just aware that there's going to be times where things get just a little tougher, and it's more about taking it easy, not about to over trading. It's about taking a vacation, then coming back and watch how you make money sometimes. Sometimes you could actually
Like,
pay instead of just paying the market and giving up gains, right, Michael? Why not just take a vacation with that cash and then re kind of
uh,
getting fresh with the mental capital and then just keep nailing it. If you're frustrated, stop trading.
yes. No, there's always a moment in which you can just go to cash and just, especially in swing trading, everything, just go to cash, just raise a bunch, just sit there,
Just
you
sit.
know, and
Get your
and
mind right.
wait for something to that makes sense to you, something that, you know, is going to work. And then when you come back and you dip your foot in, just do it slowly. Just come back and say, okay, I'm going to start trading at like quarter size,
Yep.
whatever my,
And feel it
if
out.
I was risking $100 a trade before, I'm going to risk 25 bucks a trade, just a little tiny, you know, get my feet wet, that kind of thing. And that's sizing up, sizing down. It's definitely, and again, us systematic traders do it as well, where we have, you know, setups that we know have a higher probability. So we're going to size bigger into those. And we know one that has a lower probability, right? We'll size down in those, and we'll just kind of trade those. Like, hopefully, I'm
Hit
just
it
watching
there.
Oscar here.
Hit
Hopefully,
it
our
there.
boy Steve is
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
sized lower in
It does
Oscar.
say watching Oscar.
Oh, I've got it up here. I've got it on my watch list just for our boy Steve. I
All
don't
right. Him's
man,
coming
he
back.
probably
It's trying, man. It's trying. I'm keeping an eye on Hims as probably my top play right now. Just watching for it to see if it can recover back. It's trying here.
what is that? Was that real in the spy? Did I miss that?
What? A
Kind of
little wick
looks,
down?
yeah,
Wick down. Let me see.
wick down, rip.
The wick, I got wick to 476.17. I don't know if you got lower than that. SPY is pushing though now. We're getting that
Yeah,
momentum right back in here. At least the SPY, right? So you can
me.
also just look at what's leading the SPY.
Let me go here to the streets just to see. Nothing.
What is
The
this?
U.S. Supreme Court begins hearing on arguments on Trump's tariffs. I don't know.
Oh, that's the they could cancel, like they could say that all his tariffs are canceled essentially.
Would that be a good thing or a bad thing at this point? I don't know. In the
That
beginning, we
is
hated
the
tariffs.
hardest question to
Like,
ask. Now, would it be a good thing or a bad thing if that happens? That is a really good question. I don't think I even have the answer. And I study kind of I like a lot of this stuff. I don't think there is an answer to that.
well, because in the beginning, we hated tariffs, right? In the beginning, tariffs were the worst, right?
Erg.
We sold off, and then we didn't seem to care too much about tariffs, or I guess you could say maybe the market went up in spite of tariffs, and maybe that's the
Yeah, I mean, I think some people were thinking that it was just going to be some outrageous thing. And I also think it was just also like, I don't know, man. Sometimes it can just be a bigger trader that just kind of ruined things. Bigger traders said I want out. All of a sudden, that's why the April thing happened, right?
Mhm.
It could sometimes just be a swan event, like just something that you didn't expect to happen. It happened, and quickly the markets corrected themselves, right? It ended up being that tariffs were good for the market because then all of a sudden we started to get tougher tariffs and the market never went back down. So telling me that maybe in the first place it was just a wash in the first place, and this does happen, guys, where a lot of hands get washed in long-term investing, and that's why I'm with Michael, especially in the long term. Stop looking so bearish. Look at least long term, especially bullish is the only way to go. Like it's the
Oh
only.
yeah, no
There's
time
no.
frames, right? I'm short. What Zim? I'm short some names right now. I short every day, but yeah, over the long run, markets go up. So for
Markets
me,
go up.
in the long run, it is either cash or what do I buy, right? And the question I'm always just asking is how much cash, and how much what do I buy, and what is the what's that appropriate amount, and that's going to be different just depending on the market environment, right? Right now the things are a little choppier. Like I mentioned, I've got a little bit more cash, right? It means if we just rip from here, I will make less money than I would like, and that's not ideal, right? I want to make the most amount possible, but I'm more okay with that. And then when the market's just screaming higher, I want to be in as much cash as possible. And like I mentioned, during that tariff tantrum, I went down to the bank and said, I need more. Give me a loan because I'm going to slam it into the market. And
In
that
Hims
was
here.
a good decision.
Back in Hims here, guys. Looking to add below 46. It's starting to work here, so I might just add on the break. Just don't want to add too
Palantir
much.
trying to get back through VWAP. I'm actually watching this one to see for that, just our VWAP to VWAP strategy, to see if we can get a close. We did here. I didn't end up taking it, but if we can get a close through VWAP here, I'll probably take a little bit of shot in that. With him or with Palantir, usually goes Tesla. A lot of these things are kind of related, and the SPY is looking to get back to new highs of the day, so that's an interesting one. And IWM is looking to climb back up, so it looks like the market's kind of changed its mind. Meta is talking about new
Quick
new
seller there.
highs here in Meta,
Quick seller there
and
in
Microsoft
Hims.
starting to rip.
Microsoft starting to rip. I like that.
Yeah, a little horseshoe there, trying to get through that zone. DT whatever, DT Davis Communication, DTCK. That I read that ticker way wrong in the beginning when I saw it come through, but yeah, this one's starting to push higher here.
Yeah, Tesla's starting to come back here, guys. I might take a swing opportunity on that. It's looking good. Just I'd wait a little bit. It really needs to show some strength. Him's just kind of playing around right now.
We're now up 0.5%. We're above the 2-day VWAP, which is encouraging. Now, yesterday's high would kind of be the next logical place to take a look at, and that's 680. So that's a long way from here to there.
All right, now it's starting to tighten down on Hims. It shouldn't really break the 45.80s now at this point. Looking for it to just recover 46. Let's see if it really wants to go today. If not, it could easily just come right back down. There it comes out. There's just no point in holding on right now. It's doing the chop move. I'll chop you. I'll get you in on 46. I'll chop you out at the support, and then might go higher. But I'll tell you one thing: I'm not going to stay there and get washed like some traders are probably going to do right now. So it's just not the day for it, man. And that tells me more and more. The kitten's good. I'm done for the day. I'll take my 285. I gave up like about 70 back. I'm done for the day.
You take your swings, take a couple tries. Again, I talk about all the time. There's traders out there that use a moving average of their equity curve, and that's more or less how they trade. Is they've got that moving average just sitting there, and basically a way to quantify things just aren't working right now. And it's dipped under that
So
moving
here,
average.
I'll let you guys see it before I close it, so you guys know. Here, you guys see it. Now let's put it back and close the account. There's no need to push anymore on the day. Even if something happens, I can always come back. But at the point in time, that account's done for the day, right? So now I can start looking at swings and maybe something like that if I want to open something up. But the truth is that we have choppy markets right now and not clear trend. So that tells me, hey, I even talked about it before, right? Look at the SPY and how we did this on the down move last time where we went, right? We went down and then up slightly 2 days. Then down, well, we just go slightly up for 2 days and then down again. Very much could happen. So don't expect much on upside, don't expect much on downside until these kind of get resolved, right? And so until it
I
breaks
wonder
672, you're not going to get much on the downside either.
I
So
wonder when this Elon thing is.
it's after the bell today. So you
Oh,
won't,
is it?
yeah, so it won't affect the stock in the intraday action. Shareholder meetings are normally done a little bit later for Tesla. Let me see where the exact press release is. It should tell us now. Do, 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 do. Actually, oh yeah, right at 4. It's 3 p.m.
Okay.
Central Time.
That's what thanks.
3
I was
p.m.
looking for that too. I know we were both
Yeah,
concentrated.
yeah. I got exact. Yeah, 3 p.m. Central Time, which is 4 p.m. Eastern Time, right? So, right at the bell, right? That's when they're gonna release something like that. So,
So no fun for us, right? We don't get to have fun with it
no,
unless you wanna
which is what the company should do, right? I mean, let's be honest.
talking
Look at
data.
Lemonade, man. That was the stock to buy yesterday, right on the 9 EMA. What a move on that. I was looking at it yesterday. It was just hard to like buy something yesterday. Well, Lemonade was it. Look at that
Yeah, earnings
monthly
smoker.
sideways. And I showed you the earnings chart, right? How great that looked. So things like that is what you want to look at. Like this company's growing. This was a SPAC too, guys. I think this actually does really well. Lemonade, lemonade, guys. Insurance. It's boring, but super sexy right now.
One, yeah, from 200 down to 10, so 95% drop, and now it's back to 100. That's a wild ride.
It's a wild ride. That's why you can't forget about these, right? And you're gonna have to. I actually love when they do more like that now to get in than on that first 100 break. Right now, the second 100 break seems a lot better than the first 100 break. But we'll see when we get there, right? So, man, the market just said, you know what? It's time to chop. And the SPY's going up. That's when it's getting difficult. Where you are getting some moves, but it's just not the it's just kind of stair step. Let's look
Yeah.
for something that's a little bit more like really showing. Oh, I don't know
Well,
what the heck this does, but solid power, SLDP.
I took a little bit of Palantir there as it broke through
Oh,
VWAP. Just to, again, taking. I've got this swing trade, and I'm using a close below 180 as a stop, and I'm just doing these day trades around it. So yesterday I did one. It worked great. I was able to take a big chunk off, and then I added that chunk that I took off today for another day trade. So if we can get back up to like 189, 190 or so, right? I'll be looking to sell that 2/3 of the position today, right? And then just kind of repeat that, over and over and over again. Just start going through.
okay. So this is off sympathy for Bloom Energy, SLDP. So it's a sympathy play off of Bloom Energy. It's in the same space.
That one's just had one down day yesterday, and now Bloom Energy looks like it's hit new highs today. This is just an unstoppable monster.
That it's going to create others to go with it. Like I'm just looking at them, right? And I just start looking into the space. Stardust Power, TE. Look at this one, right? Like that's a good looking flag. Weekly is going to look really good like a flag. You see the weekly? See how the weekly cleans this up so much? Like the daily looks almost horrible because it's just hard to look at that. But look how symmetrical that is holding. That's what you want to see because that gives you what? Well, if I'm in that 340s or 330s, I'm feeling pretty good right about now. And look at the daily, right? The daily doesn't have it as clean, but oh yeah, that's a bull flag. And it is starting to get back above. So I think those are interesting to take a look at, guys. CLS, the electronic component areas are really hot. And BE, as long as it can continue doing what it's doing right now, oh yeah. That's why it was hard for me to short FLNC earlier in the week. I still did it, but man, it worked, but it wouldn't work probably for too long. It's still holding up pretty well. All right, looking around, guys, it's 10:36. Market's just kind of just tickling up, and there's not much to trade at least from what I see.
Nice looking flag here on the SPY though, right? Nice push up and then
Oh,
just
same
holding.
here.
Again, because we rocketed earlier in the day. I
Right
still
back.
don't know if this was real or not, but then ever since then, you can look at this as potential little bull flag. Right? We're just consolidating in this zone, potentially building moves for higher. What I'm trying to look for is, yeah, this. So pay attention to, or not that was the funny meme, but pay attention to this for later today. And this is the big guy's schedule, right? We have no more really earnings until tonight. And there's some that we care about, not too many. I'd say the Tesla thing could be a big deal. But take a look at this. I just it was tweeted out by our boy. This is the only way I look at news. It's just whatever this guy says. So we are in this zone. So it'll be remarks at American Business Forum in Miami is the next thing. So I'll be at 1 Eastern. So we got some time for that as well. And then he comes back to do a press. And the reason this is important is because, again, I was reading our boy's feed here, and he said I'm going to do a big speech. Yeah, I'm going to Miami for a big speech, and who knows, right? The biggest speech, the greatest speech. It will be such a wonderful speech, but who knows, right? Again, I think the main focus we have now is just the government shutdown. That's really the only focus that we have. We've got earnings out of the way. They were kind of mixed, more positive than negative. I think overall the earnings did well. Of course, we have ones to go, but all the ones we care about are done. And they were like a mixed bag. So, we'll take that. That's good. Earnings is good for companies, and good for markets, good for stocks. And we don't really have anything from the Fed for a while. So that's out of the way. Now it's just what's the shutdown? How are they going to resolve this? What's going to happen with that ACA or whatever they've been fighting about for a while? So that's what we're focused on.
Lyft starting to lose a little altitude. Was thinking about maybe taking a short on that. I think the earnings. Is it tonight? Let me just double check on that one.
For which one?
Lyft.
It's still a company.
Yeah, man. It's actually one that
Yep, tonight.
I think I was calling it as a good bet around like the $15 spot, because if we get autonomous driving and they're still around, there's still change to be made in the business. So that those types of changes, like technology changes, can change a business, even though
Ooh,
you view it so negatively for so long, right?
that's the miss of
Rivian,
the day.
that's a nice one. Well, when Rivian does well, a lot of times Tesla will do well. Just saying that, just because they like kind of go side by side. Rivian though, pushing off of that 14, good catch. I
Yeah.
don't know who's calling that out, but good call.
I was just on Twitter. I got Twitter open there
Oh,
talking
that's
about
a
that was
good one.
earnings last night, and they kind of beat top and bottom. I was
That's
actually looking today. I was looking at they have
nice
a
turn.
Rivian SUV. It was
They're
kind of
nice. Rivians are nice, dude. I've
looked
I've
cool.
driven the truck, the
Hmm.
Rivian truck. They're nice. I like the way they are, the way they look. For an electric car, a lot of times I don't like the way they look, so I think it still has a lot of like what you would see out of like a Ford, right? Like
Yeah, it still looks like a car. I don't like that they're like, oh, it's an electric car, so it's got to look like a space.
yeah, space rocket
Like,
or something
nah.
for Mars, right? And I don't need to look like I'm from Mars. I already am. Uh, I already am an immigrant, and I don't need to stand out anymore.
Got a question in chat here and said, "Hey, you say you use bots. Can you use them to trade the pool? Absolutely, you can.
Mm,
So if you go to, and I'll put this in chat here as well. But
yeah.
if you go to our video on demand section and you scroll down, we have this whole thing about
Netflix.
systems trading, right? So there's this bearded dude and this whole idea of how to use Signal Stack with either TrendSpider or TradingView, and how you can then kind of build your bot from there. So a whole kind of big long video series. The first couple of them, I'm really just trying to convince you to become a systems trader, and then hopefully after I convince you, you can go through and do it there. But yeah, you can totally use bots with Trade the Pool, and not only can you, I highly recommend it. It's the most game-changing thing for my sanity, as well as just my trading in general, has been switching from a fully discretionary trader to, for a while, I was kind of like half and half, and now I'm just getting more and more systematic, where there's more and more areas of my trading that I just completely abandon and give to bots. So yeah, highly, highly recommend. I think it's, if you want to stay in this game for a long time, you have to be somewhat systematic. You don't have to go fully, off like I did. Although I say you should, but the more I kind of look at even the people out there that are discretionary traders, they're not really purely discretionary, right? They've got some amount of setups or systems or something that they're looking at, and then they're just trading those. So it's you know, they're saying they're discretionary because at the end of the day, they're looking through like some scans and like taking some trades based off whatever they're seeing on their scans. But they're following a system, right? They're looking for a certain number of things to occur and then they take a trade. So it's like those people,
Yeah.
I
It's
can't.
not just because Jupiter is the
Yeah.
moon is showing and Mars is approaching Earth.
Yeah. It's not just I'm going to draw some squiggly lines and they look good and I'm going to take a trade. It's like
I
I
can't
always
believe there's
use,
people that actually trade like that.
well, and I always like to use my buddy Brian Shannon as an example, who you can go on his YouTube channel and you can go back 20 years, and he's been breaking down the market in doing these videos. He still uses the same 1080 or 720p like shit recordings, like the whole nines. But he breaks down the market the same way, and he's been doing it the same way for 20 years. But he would never trade with a robot. But I look at him, I say, "You're a systems trader. You have a system." You're like, I look at all these things, and then he's the anchored view app guy, and he's like, I look for this, 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 and this to occur, and then I take a trade. I'm like, dude, that's a system, right?
Yep, that's the system.
That's you are a systems trader. You just don't
Don't
have the
even
back
know it.
tests and all that kind of stuff. You just don't know it. And I'm like, so at some
Don't
point you
even
might
know it.
want to just
Big orders
offload
of
it.
Pfizer, man. Who is loading up in Pfizer? There is somebody doing it. Mitch caught one of these before
The government.
with LAC. Look at that. Look at those orders, dude. These types of orders are important to catch, guys. So here, I'll show you this. This is why I like to look at orders, guys. I don't think it always gives me edge, but when I see orders like this is not someone normal, right? Like this is all getting filled at the same time. And if you stack that up, that's more than 100,000 shares, man. So 100,000 shares at $25 or $24 if you want to make it easy, right? That's a lot of money. You don't make bets like that unless you have a smart uncle.
Well, and why show that? That's the
Yeah,
other
why
question that I
show
would,
it? Why
because
show it?
you
Why be
you could,
public about it, right? Yeah.
yeah, you could very easily split that up into a lot of tiny orders and spread them out throughout the day, and be harder to detect
Yeah.
overall.
I don't
Yeah.
know, man. There's something there. I'm gonna start opening up a Pfizer. I've done this already a couple.
Uh-oh.
I have to tell myself, right? So
Oh, you're back.
got to take the
I think
shot.
Either I,
They're trying to rug
either
pull me because I'm giving you good information.
either I cut out or you cut out. I don't know which one.
They're trying
One
to
of us
get us.
did.
They're trying to get us, dude. We talked too much about that Pfizer. They're like, oh, you saw it. You saw it. I don't know, man. Can the market get going and Pfizer get going? I don't know. Something tells me to wait for the 25 spot and then bet, right? To not be front running, right? 'Cause
I'm
that's
looking at
really
this daily chart, and I
what
mentioned
it is.
yesterday, I
But
really do like it. Now, unfortunately, it got, I think that pullback it had yesterday, that was entirely market related, right? The
yeah,
whole market came down and they came down with it.
yeah,
But
you're holding the body right above it today too,
yeah,
right? Which is another like technical sign. Like sometimes don't stress too much about the candle, but look where the body is holding it. It's really holding it well today. You slightly undercut it and now
mhm.
recovering that, right? So
Yeah, and I look at a chart like that and I just wonder what would that have looked like if we didn't get
yeah.
that kind of flush into the close yesterday.
One of the signs that I like to look at is like a leading indicator is like an RSI, like it is doing here. The RSI is telling me it's building up and ready to go, right? The RSI has already crossed and like really started to get moving, right? And that's a good sign before the MACD cross, right? If you look at this back over here, RSI started to climb, then MACD crossed, right? RSI starts to climb, then MACD crossed. The stock likes to do that kind of action, right? Build and then go.
Hmm.
Build and then go. That's essentially what it's doing. Remember that indicators just give us better description of the price action. That's why you need to use these as what I always say. These are descriptions of the charts. That's all they are. So at this point, we are early to the trade because we're not getting this crossover just yet. But once it crosses, a lot of times it picks up fast, right? So you want to be looking at it. I think it's just one name to really keep on our watch. There has to be this type of load up and volume for a reason, right?
Hmm.
Like this type of volume doesn't just come in there for no reason, right? It usually means some type of positioning is happening here.
Yeah, and it could simply be a short covering, right? It could simply
Yeah,
be a
get the
massive
heck out.
position, which is fine. But either way, that's why people,
Tesla's starting to climb.
um, yeah, this is why it's like you just need to care about. Oh, that's going to be good for the market. Uh, it's
Yep.
why I love shorts, right? Because if there's a short out there, they got to cover at some point. So if it is someone covering a short position, great. Um,
Tesla's looking good here, guys.
and
It's
so
just more
is
do I want to bet now?
Palantir. This Palantir trade, I'm getting close to just taking some off the table. Again, it's one of those I'm
Hims
trying
is
to
coming
trade
back.
around
So
a larger. Right, I've got a couple. I took a day trade yesterday, made a couple bucks on it. Took a day trade today. I'm going to make a couple bucks on this one too, and then trying to work around a swing. But I just noticed that now Ethereum is up 3% on the day, so that's continuing higher.
Hims going fast.
Ripping.
Yeah, I kind of like it. It's just more, I'm just telling myself, Mitch, this is not the day trade account. Don't take the day trade on the swing account. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because that's a day trade right there for me all day. Nice little trigger, right back to the 45, and it boosted off the 45, 40, like the VWAP area, which is what you want to see, right? Buyers at VWAP. There was buyers at VWAP. So I even like TSLL now, but I'm just gonna do what I told myself, Mitch. You're done for the day. I'm not gonna turn it back on and be like, oh, let's go chasing right now. Also getting near
Hmm.
11, right? So, but it's just how it goes, right? And I think that this is how this market's gonna go: choppy, choppy, choppy. Give you a little break in an area, then all of a sudden overnight it can come back on you. So I think this is the time where it's just take the gains when we can get them. No need to fight trends in this market.
Yep.
You're gonna if you fight trends, you're gonna blow through accounts, right? Like imagine if you were short even yesterday on the SPY towards the close. You're like, I got this. Overnight by 7:30, you're seeing it already down at 673s. You're like, ka-ching, cha-ching, I got this. This morning, You see it come back at you at 675. You're like, oh no, but it's going to come right back down to 673. Boom. Now it's smacking you a little bit further. The more you hold, the more you're going to get hit on things like that, right? So the more that you
Well,
fight the action, right now it's not the time
the
to do it.
and it's why I don't, when people like get really excited to short stocks, I never really understand it, because a lot of people think, okay, the market goes up, you buy stocks, you make money, and the market goes down, and you sell stocks and or you short stocks and you make money. This short side of the game is so much harder for that very
Oh
reason that
yeah.
you're talking about, where the bounces come in like aggressively. So you're
With
short something and you think you're doing well. And this is why, the whole
perfect
saying with
example is
trading,
this stock right here.
yeah, it just rips. And you could be right, like you could have shorted AMC and made a lot of money, but every now and then AMC just like doubled out of the blue and then went back down. So it's doable. There's people that do it. It's just so much harder of a game. It's like I was watching I was watching Skrelly,
Mm-hmm.
who's been like a mega bear for the whole
You have to really
quantum
be like
computer
a
thing.
day searcher. You have to use the daily charts, man.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, the
like this guy
quantum computer, he was
was,
short on these names.
oh, he was shorting the whole time, and right, and now he's making a crap ton of money, but even I saw a video where he's like, wasn't worth it. Like the money I made just wasn't worth it because I was just getting hammered so long. And it's just, he's like, next time I see something like this that I think is just complete bullshit, he's like, I'm just gonna say it's bullshit and then just not do anything about it, because yeah,
Yeah.
it's like all of these could go to zero, but they're not going to go to zero nicely and predictably.
The-
They're going to sell off a bit, and then they're just going to triple one day, and then they're going to sell off some more and then triple. And it's just, yeah, it's too much. It's too hard.
Yeah,
Too much stress.
I think the part of that is something that I struggle with sometimes, where I I come on and I talk about so many trade ideas, right? And some of them are really really good, and then sometimes you just feel like, man, I have to put some money behind this because I'm out there like saying it, right? Like I'm out here like describing it, and I'm not putting skin in the game, and that's what I think that trader is also realizing too. It's like, well, I don't always got to have the skin in the game. I can make a call, and that could just be it. It could just be the call, right?
Right.
And I think
And
that's the
that's that. Yeah,
important.
he said next time he's like, I'll do my same speeches about how I think all of this is, because
Yeah,
he's just a person that just believes that
yeah,
they could exist, but they're just going to be so expensive that they're not going to do the thing that we want them to do. Is essentially
yeah.
his synopsis, is that you're going to be able to do the same thing with a cheaper computer, right?
Agreed,
And
agreed.
you know, it,
Because I said it from the very beginning. They're not going to give you access to something that could break into majority's passwords. Why would the
well,
government let us have that, dude?
and his thing is like the same thing that I was just saying, is that, are you going to bet on Rigetti or are you going to bet on Google? Like,
Which
if
one you
one
want to
of
bet?
these things are going to do it, like Google could just dump like $20 billion into this research and have nothing come of it and not care,
Yeah.
and just be like, oh, that sucks. Well, we wish we made something, but Google has these projects going on all of the time, and some of them are like Waymo that end up being a
Oh yeah.
thing, and then most of them, Google Chrome was just a random project that some guy did, and then they just kind of went away, right?
And
So,
I'm with you, man. It's just that
yeah, it's just
they're what they are, and I talk about this all the time. It's story stocks. That's a story.
mhm.
They're feeding you the story. Traders are buying the story, and they'll keep buying it until the story breaks. And just like a lot of stories break in investment thinking, right? We're like, oh, this is the next, this is better than bread on the table, man. This is better than sliced bread, and all of a sudden it's just not, right? Same thing I would say
Yeah,
for Beyond
or
Meat, right?
right, what Tack saying, IBM or Rigetti. I'll bet on IBM. Right? It's like, it's just the problem is no one wants to take that bet because it's not great. So like, say Google actually builds a quantum computer, they go up like 30%. and it's great. But they want the Rigetti that's up like 5,000% because they always think, same with AI. Remember when AI was getting big, everyone was looking for what's this tiny penny stock AI company that's really going to make money. And at the end of the day, it was Nvidia. You should have just bought Nvidia, and you would have made the most money. Right? AMD, you just anyone but Intel, you would have done great.
Speaking of which, Intel is right back into I think a buy zone here, man. It's interesting. It's
I own
holding
a little
well.
bit now.
Yeah, you're in,
I'm
man. You're in.
I'm not too. Yeah, I bought that little dip after the government got involved. I already took out a big chunk, so now I can just kind of hold it. It feels weird to be in this thing because it's been such a dog, but you can't. If we're doing socialism, I'm gonna be right in there with you. I'm gonna like if I'll buy what the government's
Don't
buying.
tell Trump that.
That's why I like Pfizer, right? We were looking at the Pfizer daily chart, and if it can hold here, I kind of like that. If so, say we get a green candle today, say it turns around and moves higher,
Yeah.
your trade is just super simple. So say you're buying it at like 24.50, you put out a stop at 23.50, and you risk a buck, and you walk away. You put out a
Walk
stop,
away.
right? That's 5%. You say I'm
Yeah.
willing to risk 5% on this stock, and then either you're going to wake up one day and it's going to be, this stock's going to be back in like what 34 would be kind of halfway of that major sell off it had.
Yeah.
So that's 40%. So you're risking 5% to make like potentially 50%. And you've got such a clear kind of support there at this 23
Oh
to
yeah.
24 or 24 to 23.50. That's how I'm going to play something like this. I'm just going to look for a candle. I'm going to say, here's my risk. It is sized enough that I really don't care what happens, and then I just walk away. Right?
What did the market get boring or what, guys? It definitely
Oh yeah.
did, and that's what I was saying, guys. What happened? The move just happened overnight. The bounce
Yeah, a
back
little bit,
that
little bit
we
of a
got,
pop there.
and maybe we get up there to like maybe like 680s even. But what is that really going to be, right? Like that's just a bounce back to yesterday's highs, but not really breaking that. And I think we'll just get right near that, maybe get close 679. Then I think it's all about this kind of pattern where you're getting bounces back through the high, trying to get right back there, and then we'll see if we continue the downside until we're like back, like let's say like 688 or 690s. That's when I think we're back in this game. That's when I will start going for more long swings. For me, I think we really need to start showing some strength, and at this point, chop is what I see. And the MACD also crossed finally to the downside. Right, it's been a little while since that happened, but it hasn't been that bad on that action, right? So we could still see some decline here. We'll see when we start to get this back up. And this is a good thing in the long term. If stocks want to get to 700, the SPY wants to get to 700, a pullback might be what's needed. Until then,
So
Tesla, we'll see if it bounces back. And HIMS is another one that I'd watch for continuation. Has been holding well on the day. We'll see what happens there. Any
Tac
last
asking,
one you want to talk about?
no, right? Tac asking if I buy dividend or risk ad. Not that old yet, but I do have, the wife's money is in like ETFs. Like she owns a bunch of crypto ETFs and things like that. But I'm
Yeah.
with you. I think, we've got some choppy action. The couple news events that I saw is that Schumer and Jeffries, and I guess they're the leaders. I had to Google it of like the two sides. They're meeting today to talk about the shutdown, and then Trump's got that chat I talked about at 1 Eastern. That is a big event or something like that. And yeah, that's both those things I think are going to move the market. But we're getting into lunchtime. It's why we do this show when we do this show. Is that it's I walk away from the screen. I've got stop sets. I don't look at
Yeah.
anything anymore. I don't enter new trades, and I'm just kind of all done here. Right before we leave, someone was just asking,
No
"What's the short float on
Kia.
Wolf?" Let's
No
look at the short float
Kia.
on Wolf for you.
The wolf.
I am seeing whoa. I am seeing a 43%
Oh yeah.
short
They
float.
they don't believe this stock one bit.
Damn.
They
So
don't
that's
believe you one
interesting.
bit, man.
That's a nice tight base right there, and did well even though the whole crypto market took that little poop yesterday
Yeah,
with
it
a
has a good chart.
43%. Oof. And half of the people are short. That's interesting because that's a lot of people who could have a real bad day if this thing kind of breaks that 16. Thanks
Oh
for putting that
yeah.
one on watch. I'm gonna set alerts for that one. I like it. But
The other wolf.
yeah, the non-bankrupt one. But yeah, and not only that, like look at the chart. This is why I use
Yeah.
Finviz, just because you can chart it. They've been getting more short as this thing's been ripping.
Because
That's what I want to
it's
see.
just BS, and the truth is BS can keep going, man.
Oh yeah. Well, look at
It can
GameStop,
keep
right?
going, man.
So
There's nothing
yeah,
there to
man.
stop it right now, and I don't think there's a big enough short there to stop it right now. So I think you gotta be careful with that one. That one could still go higher, man. Like
Yeah,
Lumen, right? Lumen continuing to go higher. That is just pushing. That one's doing well. Earnings came through. It's starting to push. Good mentions out there, chat. Good stocks you guys are watching. Wish you the best of luck, like always, guys. That's going to do it for us. Like always, smash the like. We will see you right here. Like always, guys, smash the like and hit that subscribe and do us a favor. Share this with others so that we can get more traders in here helping each other continue to grow. See you next time, like always, right here on Trade the